Dermot Brereton, who missed 6 matches during the season because of suspension. He was absolutely thrashed in the grand final last year. His opponent won the medal for the best on the ground, and Dermot Brereton looks as though he's coming over to start on the bench, but instead of that he just went over to speak to, slap the Barry Gavin on the hand, who's the team physiotherapist. And Peter Curran is down there, who is a player who is unfortunately missing from this grand final because of injury, but Dermot Brereton is going out to take his place there. A lot to prove for Dermot Brereton today.
Yeah, he's just looking at those interchange benches too. Viney and Phoebe coming off for Melbourne. Oh, no, it's not actually.
Stein starting at one end of the ground. He's at full forward. Hughes will do the ruck work.
Phoebe and Flintoff, the Melbourne bench.
Umpire Brian Sheehan in his first grand final gets things underway, and Deere wins in the middle, gets it down towards Schwab. The hand pass misses Kennedy, and crash they go through, and that was Spalding, and the whistle's gone. It's a free kick going to Melbourne.
Sensational move, stretch on Dunstall.
And the free kick taken by Lovett, right up towards full forward. A big climb by White, can't take the mark. Jackson's hand past the line, kick partly smothered. Good defence by Mew back there. He's got plenty of support. Goes back to Schwab, who was in the middle of the ground about 20 seconds ago. Away to Langford. A flying tackle gets Langford. Tuck the veteran. Gets the hand pass away. In a bit of trouble, Hawthorn. White a snap for goal, but it's offline and out of bounds on the foot.
Well, I don't think any plaudits around town would have picked that. Stevens stretched to play on Jason Dunstall, and the pace department's terrific. I think in the strength department, stretch might be found wanting.
And Hughes doing the ruck work as Tuck takes this kick towards centre field. Bacanara, uncontested. Foxing for 50, not forthcoming. Garry Bacanara, one of the stars of the VFL, from centre half back towards half forward. Over the top, Viney with a big fist, but it's a Hawthorn free. In front, it will be taken by Hall. Players on a short fuse this afternoon, as you'd expect. This is Tony Hall, recruited to Hawthorn this season from South Australia. Pumps it high into the forward line, looking for Dunstall. Knocked away by Steins, fisted away by Stretch towards the boundary. Leading in the race is Whitman, just inside the boundary. He gathers, pulls it back with a high kick. At the fall of the ball, Brereton, spectacular leap, couldn't hang on. They battle after it. And we'll get a ball up. Lovell going in rather carelessly there. Brinter too.
Well, it's been pretty tough, and the players on edge for the start of the game, but we haven't seen the all-in brawl that has featured the start of grand finals so often. It may yet come. There's Abbott, who's played every game this year. Way to Morrissey. Off to Schwab. Snap for goal, and he's kicked it. Peter Schwab has won a possession in the middle, in the back line, and he's kicked the first goal.
Yeah, fantastic start by Hawthorn. Always to get that early goal is always very handy. And they've had a habit of doing this in their winning grand finals of Hawthorn. They've got the early 2 or 3 goals and maintain that advantage. And what a fantastic snap under plenty of pressure from the Melbourne opposition. Alan Joyce, crossed hands.
Back in the middle. Dia will get the free kick. He was crashing in. Here's Greg Dia towards half forward with a kick. Brereton's in front. Strong mark. Dermot Brereton, a man who's kicked 8 goals in the VFL Grand Final, will fire from about 50 metres out directly in front. There's the lead. Brereton. Breeze coming over his left shoulder. Starts at left, it stays left, and goes through for a minor score. Hawthorn lead by 7. Just over 22 minutes remaining in the first term. Stephen Stretch kicking in towards the outer side. Rain is starting to fall now as the mark is taken out there. A strong mark by Hall. Right half forward for the Hawks. The red-hot favourites towards the pocket with the kick, pushing the back to Abbott, not seen. Wilson roving the pack behind, a chance to clear.
Ryan Wilson out of the back pocket towards half-back flank. Over the top, Williams, a good mark. Williams kick up towards centre wing. Spalding is there. Oh, an excellent mark by Earl Spalding, who formerly played state cricket for Western Australia. To centre half forward, no height there for Melbourne. Dippy Domenico back from the wing, takes a brilliant mark. Well, he's been down in the last few weeks. He was actually interchanged during the second semi-final against Carlton. Needs to lift today. And he puts the kick out wide, and the mark taken by Collins. He's been great this year. Into Ayres. Ayres up towards half forward. All Melbourne. Oh, Johnson had a chance to take the mark. Left it behind him. Morrissey kicks out of bounds on the full. And the free kick to Melbourne. Well, this is unbelievable that the rain is falling. It rained for about 5 or 10 minutes during the reserves grand final, but when I woke up this morning I thought it was the most perfect Melbourne day.
Let's stretch out of the back pocket. High kick members side. Big packet the fall of the ball. McGuinness fisting towards the boundary.
Maybe people will say this is a typical Melbourne day.
Exactly. It was lovely this morning, but I think the rain is here for the best part of the afternoon now. There's the throw in. Dia forward of the congestion. Kennedy left without it. Dersma over the ball for Melbourne. Eventually knocks it out. Opportunity for Newport. Tackled by Collins. Ball jarred free, and eventually the first gamer in terms of grand finals. Umpire Sheehan moves into ball at it.
Malcolm, this rain would help Melbourne, wouldn't it?
Well, that certainly would, but O'Dwyer being out suspended, one big less guy on the ground might help them.
Steins. Kennedy now. Opportunity for Wilson. Gets it to Jackson. A high kick towards half forward. Spalding in front. Coming across from the angle there to knock it away was Ayres, but it's going to be a Spalding free. He'll take this one down towards right half forward.
Hawthorn 1 goal 1. Melbourne yet to score. Kick up towards centre half forward. Not a great distance in that kick. Hawthorn definitely with the breeze. Hall gets the hand pass away, but it goes astray to Lovell. Hooks it up towards the forward pocket. Jackson at the back. Di Domenico comes in to help Collins. Healy is there, but the ball off him and goes out of bounds. Greg Healy turned 23 a week ago. He's been captain of the side for most of the season at the age of 22, and of course his brother Gerard Healy won the Brownlow medal earlier this week.
There's the throw in. Di Domenico breaking away from half back towards centre wing. Over the head of Kennedy. Dersma backs himself. Peeled off. Gathers it. Lovett's in trouble. Brereton crashing into him. Steins does well in a tight situation. Hugs the boundary line. It bounces out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
Hughes on the ball early. He's now in the back pocket on Abbott. Steins in the ruck.
So just a ploy perhaps to unsettle Hawthorn at the start. Steins going down to full forward ever so briefly. Here's the throw in. Steins in front, battling with Dia. Steins wins it down. Di Domenico over the ball. Ayres then. Collins. Eventually Healy comes away. Wilson fumbling. Gets it across to Yates now, just outside 50. Clever kick into the path of Lyon.
That was a beautiful kick by Graham Yates, who is not one of the high-profile players at Melbourne, but has he done a superb job on the wing this year. And Garry Lyon has had a great final series.
And he really didn't know what he was running into then either. It was a great courage from Lyon.
Last week, Garry Lyon kicked a goal from about 75 metres. This time, he's kicking from about 40. Close. And he hooked it. Well, he should have made the most of that.
Yes, these conditions obviously not going to make for great football. The ball's going to be on the ground a bit, and those sorts of kicking could happen all day.
Kick in taken by Ayres. Wide lead by Langford, who's got it about 55 metres out from goal. Hawthorn 1-1, Melbourne 1 behind. And we have just under 18 minutes left in the first quarter. Light rain falling at the MCG on a grey and overcast day. Oh, out of bounds on the full.
Yes, those conditions with the ball being very, very slippery indeed. Players are really going to have to put their head over the ball and follow through with the kick.
Spalding back towards half forward for Melbourne. White reaching over the top. Steins got a hand to it. Ayres does well in a tight situation. Lyon sharks it though. Pulls it down towards full forward. It's bouncing free. Who's got the foot speed? Collins has. He gets back first. Claimed by Williams. Off the ground by Jackson to the outside of the boot. Through it goes for a behind. Action aplenty. Here's our scoreline. Just over 17 minutes remaining in the first quarter. And the veteran to bring it back in. Michael Tuck goes in short. And the mark is taken by Chris Mew. Mew in the back pocket. Clears play towards centre wing. Steins is in front. Through his hands. Opportunity behind for Wilson. Hand passes out wide. Healy's got the run of it close to the boundary. The skipper with the left foot pulls it back towards the half forward flank. McGuinness knocks it on. Opportunity for Dia. Close to the boundary line. Whitman, or was it Collins down there? Collins, who boots it back towards midfield. Opportunity for Viney, well played, comes away with strength. Too much carry on the kick over the head of White. Towards the boundary line it goes. It trickles out from the right full forward pocket.
And it's very difficult to pinpoint passes from that short a distance. He really should have just given the ball a bit of air and let Sean White run into that rather than try and belt it at him.
A swirly breeze going right to left in favour of Hawthorn in the first quarter. Garry Ayres crashes through the pack but hasn't got the hand pass clear yet. Schwab helps him out. Back to Ayres. And he's kicked a half-back flank close to the boundary line. Out would do Hawthorn.
Whitman's coming off the ground with what appears to be a serious arm injury.
Well, that's bad news for Hawthorn. And his replacement is to be Darren Pritchard. And the way he's holding that, it could even be as bad as a fracture. Wilson takes clean possession from the boundary throw-in. Inside half-forward. Lyon contests well. McGuinness does well. Steins, the Irishman, off the right boot. One out in the goal square. White is there but can't grab clean possession and the ball goes out of play. And here's the incident with Whitman. He went in to apply the tackle on Healy and he just spun off him and hit the ground. Looked like a collision with the ground. Now Collins dashes out of defence for Hawthorn. Over the centre he goes. The rain gets heavier. It's pelting down at the moment. Johnson at the back. He's kicked towards half forward. Oh, clever by Lovett, but couldn't take the mark. Hand pass by Healy over the top. Collins under pressure. Threads out a beautiful hand pass to Di Domenico. Oh, this is like a tropical downpour at the moment. Morrissey threads out the hand pass to Hall. Hall from 55 metres. Breeze behind. Great kick, but offline.
My word, and isn't that raining now? Unbelievable. Dipper trying to bounce that ball in the middle of the ground then. Very slippery indeed.
Stretch finds Grinter. Grinter from the back pocket towards half back. Over the head of Newport. Lovell. Well tackled by Di Domenico and they slide out of bounds.
Matter of fact, we shouldn't be surprised by this rain. It has rained 5 Saturdays in a row in Melbourne and the weather during the week has been superb.
There's a message in there. Boundary throw in. Abbott's in front. Steins over the top, back towards the boundary. Out of bounds yet again. Back in round 7, Melbourne defeated Hawthorn by 21 points. In round 17, Hawthorn defeated Melbourne by 69 points. Jimmy Steins, recruited from Ireland. Remarkable story. Steins fisting forward. Brereton gets by Yates. Sockers off the ground. Not much percentage in that. It goes out of bounds on the full. Left half forward for Hawthorn. The Hawks lead by 6 points. Just the 1 goal scored so far. Alan Johnson from right half back. Members side with a kick. Deere is up, knocking it forward. Schwab in all sorts of trouble. Spills free, taken by Mew.
And Mew's kick over the wing. Johnson couldn't gather the wet ball and it goes out. Bernie Quinlan's on the boundary line. What about the injury to Whitman, Bernie?
It doesn't look good. Whitman's been taken straight up to the rooms with what appears to be a serious arm injury and it could even be fractured. They doubt whether he'll be back on the ground.
Well, that is bad news. Grinter gets the kick for Melbourne over the centre. Spalding, clever play. He plays on. Running onto this is Viney. He's got too much toe for them. Viney to the goal square. Oh, right on the line. It's knocked away by Langford. Todd Viney, number 12 for Melbourne there. Had a promising junior tennis career and once beat Boris Becker when they were both juniors.
Michael Tuck, members side with a kick. Yates, that's a good mark in the circumstances. Greasy ball now as he goes down towards the pocket. Williams on his chest. David Williams. He'll kick from about 45 metres out. A very acute angle. There's the lead. Good talking by Williams, calling out his teammate. Good looking kick. That's a magnificent kick.
David Williams. First goal for the Demons. And he was a very, very productive player in the rain last week when the rain came late against Carlton. And here he is again, as Dennis mentioned, calling out Sean White. He knew the voice. Sean White let it go. And then with a brilliant kick from 45 metres out, what a fantastic goal. And a real team lifter for Melbourne to get their first in a grand final.
Melbourne have hit the front for the first time after Williams' goal. Hawthorn forward out of the centre, but Lovett for Melbourne straight onto the chest of Collins. The rain has lightened off, and in the weather quarter it's looking a bit brighter, so perhaps we won't get any more. Maybe Melbourne hopes we get it all day. Thumped out of defence towards the boundary line. Schwab leads the race, and he's quite happy to see the ball out.
Actually, Whitman was tagging Healy, so what's going to happen now is I guess that Darren Pritchard coming on the ground might get that job on Healy.
Tier gets rid of Steins. Thump comes through, it goes to Johnson. His hand pass to Wilson. His goes astray to Dippia Domenico, who crashes through like a Sherman tank. Up to the forward line. What a mark by Abbott. Abbott's had a great season. He's played every game. He's kicked from 55 metres, edge of the goal square. Dunstall is there. Almost the mark, the leading goal kicker. Comes to Jackson. Away to Stretch, who is Dunstall's opponent. And Stretch clears for the Demons. Once again going towards the boundary line. Lyon will be happy to see it out.
Well, almost then. Almost from the leading goal kicker. Jason Dunstall, 2 grabs. Just the pressure applied by the Melbourne defence kept it out of his hands.
10:45 and counting down. There's the boundary throw in. Steins wins it down. It's taken by Kennedy. High kick towards half forward. Brereton going back, takes the mark on his chest. The luck of the draw there. Brereton would be about 45 metres out from goal when he takes this kick.
Here is again. Dersma off balance then, and Brereton safely on the chest.
Good looking kick. It's a goal to Hawthorn there, second.
So Dermot Brereton with 2 chest marks in this first quarter and 3 kicks, already proving some sort of focal point for Hawthorn at centre half forward. As we look at that.
Just going to say, Mel, as we look back over the finals and perhaps even the games leading up to the finals, Dersma's shown the capacity to come back at good players.
Yes, he has indeed. He's certainly going to have to do it today.
Yeah. So we're back in the centre. Hawthorn by 5 points. There's the time remaining. Healy slips as he kicks. A shade high, I would have thought. No free kick. In goes Platten. As he pushed in the back, the umpire thought that was a free, having thought better of the first one, I'd suggest.
And that's his first touch, John Platten. Brownlow medalist last year.
Back in the centre.
Bit of a fight on near the centre circle. Goes down to Dunstall, and the ball's knocked out of bounds in the forward pocket. And they're sorting things out here, and the players are sorting them out. Ayres is in there. And Earl Spalding. In comes Yates, and Steins gets rid of Ayres again. Well, it didn't happen at the start of the game. We had to wait for about the midway part of the first quarter.
That was interesting. Schwab was indicating to Yates he had the situation perfectly under control. Stay off, but Schwab went crashing into it.
Abbott off the left boot, up towards the goal square, and Dersma drops back to take a mark. His opponent is Brereton, and Dersma, who kept Stephen Kernahan quiet twice in the last month, which was no mean effort. The kick to halfback, goes past Steins. They've stopped fighting and they're playing football. Goes to Hall, bounces away to Ayres. Ayres a long kick, a mighty kick, but offline and through for a behind.
There's that back line of Hawthorn, renowned for their attacking style, and Garry Ayres, one of the prime movers from that defensive role, and does love kicking goals.
Hawthorn by 6 points. Stretch, best and fairest last season for Melbourne, kicking in. And finding the best and fairest winner in 1986, the skipper Greg Healy, short to Lovell. From half-back, Lovell towards centre wing. Missed in front by Mew. Showing courage, Spalding. Slides out the back. With the run of the ball, it's Collins. McGuinness slips over. Gets the deflection away. Ayres, it's very slippery out there. Crashing in his Viney. Schwab went down, then Viney went down in short order. And the ball's out of bounds. McGuinness goes down. Steins and McGuinness now. Nothing subtle there. And the umpire's gone across.
Yes,
He's awarding a free kick to Steins. Inexperience from McGuinness.
Well said, Dennis. Really no need for that at all to come in and push. It was a fair, reasonable bump. Just get on with the game.
The luck of the Irish. Jim Steins on the outer side. Plays on. Goes for a long kick. It is a long kick. Down towards the pocket. Wide is up. Knocked away by Langford. Over the ball is Collins, and he's content to push it across the boundary line.
Hawthorn leading by 6 points. 2-3 to 1 goal 3. And we have 7.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Lyon number 3 very high. It goes to Mew of Hawthorn, who's gaining ground rather than finding a teammate. Greg Healy's there, the skipper for Melbourne, and he sees it out.
One of the reasons why we haven't seen John Platten as much so far is that Lovett is actually tagging him around the ground. At this stage, he's doing a very good job on him.
Alan Joyce, coach of Hawthorn, looking on. It's his first year as a seniors coach. Comes away to Viney. White has a chance here. Off the ground, will he? Well, Collins was first back there to rush it through. So Hawthorn's defence has been under pressure. 3 of the scores there have been rushed behinds for Melbourne. Langford to kick in.
Andrew Collins playing a top game in defence. His pace a big asset. Langford grandstand side. Newport got a fist to it. Morrissey into the path of the big fellow there. Got an unkind bounce. Good shepherd from Stein. Sends Grinter away. The kick not a good one. Showing great courage was Healy, diving on top of the football. Down goes Newport. Crashing into him was Ayres. It goes back to the 2 players on the ground. The players above them simply exchanging blows. And now there's going to be a free kick, and it's going Hawthorn's way this time. Buckenara quick to take it. The crossfield, McGuinness on the overlap. Langford up from full back, goes long into the forward line. Dunstall is down there, got a hand to it. Dersmer off the ground, it's out of bounds and will be thrown in the right full forward pocket. Jason Dunstall, 14 goals in the 2 matches for Hawthorn against Melbourne this season. 125 on the season. Looking for more this afternoon. So far, he's been held. Steins forward of the congestion. Hall trying to crash his way through, is bulldogged by Johnson, and the ball goes out of bounds. Not easy when the player's coming at you, arms flailing in that situation, but Johnson simply hung on.
Well, the wet conditions certainly evening things up in favour of Melbourne. When they last played, Hawthorn jumped them and had 6 goals in the first quarter of an hour. Not today. Platten off the left boot. Won't make the distance. Dunstall is down there. Comes to the back of the pack. Lovett, number 17. He's going to be beaten to it by his teammate Stretch. Couldn't take clean possession, and the ball is rushed out. When it was looking dangerous in the goal square, now it's out of bounds 55 metres out. And here's a free kick Melbourne's way, deliberately out of bounds by Di Domenico, ruled the umpire. And the free kick will be taken by Brian Wilson. Shocking kick straight onto the chest of Brereton. And Brereton's got it about 80 metres from goal. Well, did Hawthorn ever jump them the last time they played? It was 8 goals to 1 in the first quarter. Today, it's 2 goals to 1. Steins thumps to the front. It goes to Grinter. Good distance with a hurried kick on the turn. Spalding's after it with Mew. Mew taps for teammates. Ayres up from defence. They don't mind crossing lines, Hawthorn. To centre half forward, Steins a good mark.
They're getting back well, Melbourne. Double teaming Dunstall on occasions. Steins towards the members' side. Collins, well played to Schwab. Platten, cleverly done. Platten from 55 metres. Long kick towards full forward. Brereton.
Yes, it's interesting. 4th mark and all chest marks. And Brereton's just causing Dersmer problems because he's dropping back. As we see it again, Dersmer trying to play in front, but Brereton's just reading the kick better off the boot. And 4 chest marks.
The superstar of the VFL, Dermot Brereton. From 10 metres out, gets the goal.
2 goals to Dermot Brereton from centre-half forward. And what a contribution at centre-half forward that is. And that's where Dersmer's just getting a bit of problem. He just drops back a bit, and some of the Hawthorn kicks are going a bit longer. And really the reason why was that Platten got clear and was able to kick long.
The top mark by Brereton. He had time to look around to see what was around him. In the centre of the ground. And the umpires have just made a report in the centre of the ground. We think that Jim Steins was in the centre of the action. Perhaps a little bit off the ball. And Buckenara was there as well, the 2 number 11s. And they were the centre of the controversy in the preliminary final last year, when Steins ran across the mark and Buckenara kicked the goal that beat Melbourne. Here's Di Domenico out of the centre. The free was going to be paid. Advantage was on. Up to Dunstall in a trice. Stretch does the punching away. Platten's come into the game in the last 5. It comes away here to Pritchard. He snaps for goal. Chance for Brereton again. And a last minute spoiled by Hughes. And it's rushed through for a behind.
Fantastic play then from Platten. The ball was always on the ground and very hard to, but he kept his body over it and forced it forward.
It's interesting. We see Brereton back leading consistently on Dersmer as the kick comes in. Knocked down by Steins. Lovett as he pushed in the back. No free. Deep into Domenico. Just wards off Yates. But he's got the free kick for the high tackle initially. Goes in short. Spears the pass to Abbott. And Hughes, belatedly arriving on the scene, could well be 50. And I think the Hawthorn players have reason to be upset there, but they want to hang on to the footy, forget about this, and take their kick. Yes. Hughes rather ungainly in applying pressure after the mark was taken.
Yes, that's very true, Dennis. He is giving him 50.
Yes, good umpiring, umpire Sheehan.
I just hope they don't get too carried away. I think there's been a couple of free kicks that they've really gone overboard on. That's fair enough. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that, but it was the bit at the end there.
The finishing touches.
Yes, 50 metres, and of course 50 metres to put him in the grandstand.
Here's Abbott, point blank range, another one for the Hawks.
So Paul Abbott playing out of a forward pocket, and on a day like today, that height is going to be an advantage, not so much from his marking, all that was a great chest mark, the fact that the smaller players around him can run to the feet, because he will bring it down to the front. As we look at this again in replay, and Danny Hughes just trying to knock that ball out for the third time.
Okay.
Well, the weather is on again, off again. At the moment, it's pelting with rain once more. Hawthorn a couple of goals, and there's Chris Whitman having been treated in the rooms. I don't think we'll see him back. Well, Hawthorn a couple of goals in the last 2 minutes. And all of a sudden they're 4-4 to 1 goal for. Melbourne into attack now. Spalding a good pickup. Gets the hand pass away to Williams. And from 25 metres, he should have done better than that.
Yes, and a lot of players slipping. Michael Tuck slipped over then, which gave Williams the easy contest. Or in fact, almost no contest. As Domenico and Todd Viney are at the Olympic Games in the sumo wrestling division.
There's the kick in, Members side. Not too far away from the fight, actually. Ball runs out of bounds. Grinter and Platten tracking it towards the 7 brollies. Domenico and Viney are broken up. And there's the clock running down towards quarter time. Steins and Dia. Dia does well. Newport lays it off to Healy, who hooks it back towards half forward. New was up to knock away. Lovell an opportunity, surrounded by Hawthorn players. Spalding should get a free kick. Off the ball, he was being held by the leg. Will Spalding. Too far out to score, I venture to say. He'll kick from about 60 metres. Hawthorn 4-4, Melbourne 1-5. Close to quarter time. Spalding, a wayward kick. It'll go out of bounds in the right full forward pocket.
Well, he'd be disappointed with that, because that really should have put pressure on the goal square with a free opportunity like that. And once again, that slippery ball, very hard to control.
Here's Langford. Bring it back in then. Good term this for the Hawks.
Bearing in mind that Hawthorn have the breeze, and it might be worth about 2 goals. And at the moment their lead is 17 points, so it's not quite 3 goals. Here's a kick by Lovell. Can't keep it in. They've gone out before he kicked it, so we'll come back and have a throw in. Andy Lovell, a remarkable first season in VFL football. Just turned 18. And we've heard thunder in the distance. So there's a bit of a storm around Melbourne at the moment. And no team is going to win by a real lot in these conditions. And Hawthorn would certainly be a better team in the dry. Here's Ayres. Well, that's almost like the underwater dolphin that's been going on at the Olympic Games that Garry Ayres just gave us then. Anything you can find for shelter here at the moment, as we have just over half a minute left in the first quarter. Ayres once more somehow gets left boot to ball, and it's out again.
Actually, Drew, just looking at it, probably Melbourne have had more play in their forward line. The Hawthorn defence has been terrific.
Boundary throw in. Steins in front, wins it forward. Ayres, quite remarkable so far in this game. Backhanded out by Dia. Newport falls over. Brilliantly picked up by Kennedy. He leads the charge with the clock running down. It's down to 9 seconds as the ball bounces out of bounds, about 55 metres out from Hawthorn's attacking goal. And I think that could be the last action of the term. Quarter time then, and Hawthorn lead this one, the grand final of the MCG, 28-11.
About to get underway for the second quarter, and during this term Melbourne will have the breeze. Interesting to see both teams change boots at quarter time, so they must have gone for the wet weather treads. On the boundary line, Don Scott.
Yes, well, Drew, it was a very emotional John Northey. He spoke to the Melbourne players. He told them it's a grand final. He wants them to go into the packs. He wants them to punch the ball forward. Just keep it moving forward, Bernie.
Yes, that's basically the same message. The Hawthorn boys must keep hitting the ball forward, forcing it forward as much as they can, keep the pressure on in the centre of the ground and make sure that Melbourne don't get any easy kicks.
Good, thanks, Drew.
Don Scott and Bernie Quinlan, two of the veterans of VFL football, both well over 300 games. The bounce in the centre and knocked forward by Steins, and he gets it about 40 metres out of the middle. Healy after it, but McGuinness first back there. His hand pass astray. Wilson a snap for goal, but he couldn't bring it back far enough. And the ball goes out of bounds on the full, but all that took about 10 seconds out of the centre bounce.
It's just looking, Schwab is now picking up Healy and actually went in the middle of the ground with him then, so they've had to make that change since Whitman is off with that arm injury.
Chris Langford kicks in for the Hawks. Big pack gathering. Knocked forward by Mew. Comes to Healy. A centering kick. He didn't go for goal. It's all Hawthorn and Michael Tuck, the veteran. So the young captain to the old captain. Tuck goes towards the outer side. Dippia Domenico in about 30 metres of space. Down the outer wing. Lovett to chop it off. Takes it on the chest.
Bad kick. Lovett. Centre. The mark is taken by Lovell.
Yes, they've done that a lot today, Hawthorn. They've just not quite pushed that 50-metre rule. They really have smothered up.
Towards half forward with a kick. A lot of space down there for two Melbourne players, one of whom took the mark. Greg Healy. Now he'll kick from about 50 metres out. You get the feeling at the present time that Melbourne needs something to spark themselves and this crowd. Hawthorn have taken the crowd out of the game so far. Healy long towards full forward. It's got the carry, has it. Mew got his fingertips to it. It's a goal. Mew touched it over the line.
Well, Dennis, perhaps that's the spark that needed. And who better than the captain, Greg Healy, who found some space in the middle of the ground and with a very, very long torpedo kick in these conditions, just had enough carry to get over the line. As we watch this in replay, the ball on the angle, he turned it with his hand, right hand on the top, and almost looked as though Mew might have got a hand on it.
Hawthorn by 11 points. We're back in the centre. Rucks go to it. Steins wins it down yet again. On the charge is Ayres. Lays it off to Dippia Domenico, surrounded by Melbourne players. Lovell got a hand in there, a timely one. Wilson's over the ball. Tackled by two Hawthorn players and is penalised for holding it. Wilson making the point. It's a bit breezy. It's hard to get out. Dippia Domenico puts on a little show meantime, showing it's not breezy as he kicks it down towards half forward. Dersma and Brereton, no mark was taken. Over the ball is Hall, knocks it out wide, gathered by Hughes, upended as he kicks. The ball goes out into open space, skids towards the boundary line. There's a ball back at half forward for Hawthorn. The ball is out of bounds on centre wing.
There's some Dermot Brereton's underneath that lot. He really did attack Hughes fairly hard. And a couple of Melbourne players around. Here it is here. He tackles him fairly hard. And Greg Healy just pushed him, and the play goes on.
Meantime, we're back with the play, and Mew kicks up towards centre half forward. Dunstall hasn't had a touch as yet, but he's going to get a free kick here. Jason Dunstall, the Queenslander, who led the goals for the season.
Yes, and there's the push. You can see that hand just in edge of screen there. Certainly was a push to Jason Dunstall.
125 goals for the year. He kicks from 48 metres. Beautiful kick right through the middle. One kick, one goal.
So the impetus Melbourne got with that first goal has just been quelled now by Hawthorn. And really there was almost no need for that pack. It's very, very hard to mark overhead at the moment with a slippery ball. And just that little shove from Stretch enabled this shot at goal from Dunstall.
126 goals for the season for Jason Dunstall. Back in the middle. Lovett's over the ball. There's the time remaining. Morrissey off the ground, working it forward for the Hawks. Taken by Ayres. Towards half forward he goes. Long kick towards a vacant goal square. Dunstall is back. Marks on his chest. No, he doesn't. It's slid out. And through it goes for a minor score. Well, dry day. He hangs on. Today, the force behind. 5-5, 2-5. The early going in the second quarter. Danny Hughes, recruited from South Australia, comes Members' side. Ill-directed. Strong mark. A fellow South Australian, and Hall marking it right half forward.
Brilliant overhead.
Just the one grab. It's like a cake of soap, that football. Centering kick. Big pack into the air. Off hands. Ayres again like a rover. Knocked over by Grinter. Morrissey takes it off Ayres. Brilliant interception. Well, almost. Lovett didn't hang on. They've got a whistle. Another bounce down about 35 metres out from Hawthorn's attacking goal. They lead 5-5 to 2-5.
Well, the free kick goal by Jason Dunstall could be very costly for Melbourne, because really 17 points behind at quarter time wasn't too far behind. Off the ground by Schwab. It goes through the full forward. And at the back, Hughes is there for Melbourne. Under pressure. Out of bounds on the full.
Great stuff.
Brereton putting on the pressure when often forwards might almost give it away in that situation and let the defender get it out of bounds or get it to a teammate. Brereton kept going. And Dermot Brereton, we're right behind him as he kicks for goal. The breeze is right to left, so it further narrows a narrow angle.
Will he use a check side or a banana kick?
Straight.
He has.
Oh, what a goal!
Third goal to Dermot Brereton, and he did just that. He used the check side, or as the Victorians say, banana kick. And it is a fantastic skill that there wasn't a lot else on. And I know a lot of sides centre the ball, of which Hawthorn's one of them. But you look at the great skills of Dermot Brereton here, and what a magnificent goal. His third goal. What a performance from Dermot Brereton.
Been a change by Melbourne. Newport off the ground, and Flintoff has come on to mark Buckenara in the centre. Hawthorn with a bit of a break now. There's Viney, number 12, but it's a Melbourne free kick. It's coming back to Ricky Jackson in the centre circle. 6-5 to 2 goals 5. 41 plays 17, and we have just under 20 minutes left in the second quarter. Jackson's kick to centre half forward. Wide high but couldn't mark. Comes off to Lyon. Nobody back in the goal square. Schwab getting back there. Ball bounces skew if, and Schwab is allowed to get there and kick it out of defence. Viney first there. Slips to ground. Platten over the top of him. Play on, says the umpire. Collins gains a few metres. Keeps it in for Dipia Domenico. He further keeps it in. Great stuff by Hawthorn, and they force a ball up. This is about 65 metres out from goal, whereas it looked like being a throw in about 10 metres from goal.
So the grand final starting to slip away from Melbourne. They need the next goal. Dia slaps it towards the boundary line. Viney leads back in the race. Kennedy going nowhere. Flintoff emerges with the ball, but we've got a whistle. Bounce down. Right half forward for Melbourne. A shade further out than that. 6-5 to 2-5. Dia and Steins close to the boundary line. Kept in by Jackson. Hurried kick. Contest on 50. Tuck comes over the top and finds the boundary line with a fist.
Isn't that terrific defensive play? The pack, the bigger the pack, the harder it is to mark. 4 Hawthorn players up, all punching.
Boundary throw in. Spalding called upon to do the ruck work on the forward line. Knocked away by Dia. And yet again it goes out of bounds. Hawthorn led by 17 points at quarter time. Dermot Brereton has 3 goals now. There's Greg Dia. Dia and Spalding. Falls behind them. Flintoff tackles a former teammate and Platten, who threw it out according to the umpire. Healy wants to go. The ball must go to Flintoff. He's got it then, too far out to score. He'll kick from about 65 metres, goes down towards the pocket. Hawthorn have got the numbers. White was the target and slides off the hands of the pack and goes out of bounds in the right full forward pocket.
Dennis, that's really not the place to put it in a pack situation.
Oh, surprising.
As we look at Schwab.
Yeah.
They really should attack the goal square with that kick then.
Boundary throw in. Dia number 14. Lyon number 3 for Melbourne, running out of room. And we'll have a throw in. So Melbourne, who have the breeze in this quarter, have been outscored 2-1 by the Hawks. And it's a 24-point lead to Hawthorn. Melbourne need to start to take advantage of their use of the breeze. Ayres has been a superb player for the Hawks. Long kick into the breeze to centre wing. Johnson's back there and takes a fine sliding mark. Alan Johnson to half forward. Williams is there underneath the ball. Comes to the back to Mew. No great distance with that one. Morrissey and Domenico both went for it. Stein's great courage. Morrissey there for Hawthorn. And out of the starting blocks. Past Brereton it goes. Inside 50. Abbott's there. Pulled to the ground by Hughes. Oh, lucky not to give away a free kick. Morrissey taps out brilliantly. Domenico from 25 metres. Great kick.
So the former Brownlow medalist, who really has played very well in this early part of the game, Domenico kicks his first goal. And how many times have you seen that throughout his career? A goal-kicking wingman. Morrissey did exceptionally well here to tap the ball on to Domenico, and then had the presence to balance and kick truly. Fantastic play.
We're back in the middle. Hawthorn lead by 30 points. Here's Platten towards half forward yet again. Brereton leads in the race. Got an unkind bounce. Dersma thumps it towards the boundary line. Stretch just inside the line. Stumbles. Kicks it away. Bounces out of bounds up towards right half back for the Demons. Well, the last 2 goals kicked by Hawthorn can sap the morale of any team. Brereton, the check side punt, and then Domenico, wrong foot on the run, deep in the pocket. Boundary throw in. Hughes over the top. Flintoff got the deflection to Lovell. Again the tackling, supreme by Hawthorn. Kennedy runs away with the ball. Awkward half volley, gathered brilliantly by Dunstall. He pulls it back. Mark is taken by Hughes. Members side with a kick. 2-on-1 situation. Yates needs to run hard to support his teammate. It comes over the top. Well done, Wilson to Yates. Yates from half back towards half forward. Spalding on a lead. Stretches every sinew to take the mark on his chest. Bill Spalding plays on around Mew. Melbourne desperately need a goal. Long kick towards the kick-off line, but Garry Ayres, the Hawthorn vice-captain, a starring role so far this afternoon, gets it out to Domenico.
11 possessions, Ayres. Domenico from half-back. Centre of the ground, Morrissey! Jamie Morrissey, a big leap. And they're kicking well into the breeze. Oh, almost a great mark. It comes off hands to Abbott, who goals.
2 goals to Paul Abbott. As the Hawthorn pressure continues, Morrissey, a focal point almost up forward with that great tap for Domenico's goal, and then a fine mark in the centre of the goal. The kick goes forward. Brereton almost, what a fantastic mark running back. And then Abbott, the rover, the big fella's done very well off hands. Great play from Hawthorn.
Todd Viney's off the ground. There's the score, 8-5 to 2-5. The time remaining. Hawthorn enjoying a great second quarter. Flintoff sends Lovell away. Shocking kick towards half forward, taken by Jackson. Lyon left it behind. McGuinness, great tackle by Lyon. Found him very quickly, and they tie it up at centre half forward for Melbourne. There's Pritchard looking on. Delighted Hawthorn supporters getting the chant going as well they might. Dia, clench fist back towards the middle. Kennedy in the grasp almost before he had the ball. Flintoff is doing well, lays it off to Johnson, out wide to Yates. Yates from right centre wing. They have been switched to the other side of the ground. Tuck was pushed in the back. Williams didn't play that one very well. Collins comes away. The advantage is paid. Melbourne in deep trouble at the present time. Good mark is taken in front there. Phoebe, short passes. Grinter, the signs are all bad as far as Melbourne are concerned. Grinter, that's a better looking kick. McGuinness gets a fist on it. Green in front, gets it across to Platten. Quick exchange, gives the ball to Dia. Pushed off the kick. Back comes McGuinness to Platten. Langford intended for Green, showing courage. Yates held without it surely. No free kick. Domenico there was held without it. Again no free. Platten with courage. Brilliantly done. Gets it to Buckenara. He tries to hand it across to Kennedy. Down with a Melbourne player in there. That was Lovett. Crashing in Phoebe. In goes Steins. Tackled by Kennedy. Down he goes. It spills to Dia. But who's worked it forward? Hawthorn worked it forward. Ayres. It deserves a goal. It misses. But there is the secret. There is the story of Hawthorn.
What a fantastic minute of play there, where they just absolutely forced the ball with brute strength over about a 50-metre period, and Garry Ayres just let the side down with the kick at the end.
Too tough.
Yes, the signs are bad for Melbourne. Into the breeze, Hawthorn have kicked 4-4 to 1 goal in this quarter. Di Domenico takes the mark just outside half-forward flank. 65 metres from goal. Dunstall a chance. Climbs high, can't mark. Comes to the back, Buckenara. Well, he wasn't too sure what to do with it. Certainly ran out of room, and it went through for a behind off Buckenara. Actually, Gary Buckenara has been pretty quiet. Just 2 possessions. Kick in comes from Grinter. Hall there in the marking contest. Lyon at the foot. Umpire calls for it, and we'll ball it up. But it's 8-7, 55 to 2-5, 17. So a lot to do for Melbourne, and they're running out of wind-assisted time in this second quarter. Just over 12 minutes left. Half-forward flank for the Hawks. Tapped out by Steins. Comes to Abbott. Abbott playing well. He's got a couple of goals. Brereton couldn't take the mark. Buckenara hooks back. Out of bounds on the full. And touch, says the umpire. And it's going to be a throw-in rather than a free kick to Melbourne. So Hawthorn still in attack.
Isn't Abbott a valuable player, doing the ruck work up forward, kicking goals, and really on a day when it shouldn't suit him?
What do you say when you're roving to him? I suppose, hey, Abbott. One forward there by Steins. Johnson in the goal square. Across the face of goal, out wide. One-out contest now. This will be interesting. Di Domenico. Oh, a couple of Melbourne players collide. Langford did nicely, got it to Green. They can do no wrong at the present time, the Hawks. This is John Platten in the true centre-half forward position. He's a champ.
He's a long kicker of the football, and he really does go with it, Dennis.
Let's see what he can do. Not a good one, but Abbott almost the mark. Kennedy on the burst. Still he goes, Kennedy, with strength. And eventually, Lovett decides to force it behind. Eight to 2-5. Swirling breeze now at the MCG. Overcast conditions. It's slippery out there, but the rain has stopped. Ayres, he's been superb. To Green. Green thought about the release. Now he goes for the kick. Lovett's in front, and he takes the mark for Melbourne.
Pops over a short one to Yates, who had plenty of time at half-back flank. Kick by Yates is smothered beautifully by Mew. And that's an example of how Hawthorn don't mind crossing lines. You'd have half-backs coming up, winning possessions forward of centre, and centremen almost in the forward pocket. Great play then by Mew. And we've seen Langford do it plenty of times as well. Comes to the back to Jackson. His kick over centre wing, whipped away by Collins. No distance in the kick. Kennedy spoiled. Chance for Hall. Centre half forward, 60 metres out. Outnumbered 2-1, and the numbers beat him. Grinter got it, but the tackle came pretty quickly. Healy was playing for the free rather than the ball. Here's Wilson taking a fine mark up just forward of centre wing. 56 plays 17. Hawthorn well in front. Williams in front. And marks just outside 50. Nothing that Tuck could do about that. David Williams, who scored Melbourne's only goal in the first quarter. Can he make the distance from about 55? Well, he's well short. No chance here, but whoops. Bit of a boot came out. Mew was able to ride it all right. Platten's come right back in after a slow start. Collins away to Buckenara. Buckenara clears. Just weight of numbers for Hawthorn, doing it every time. This time Wilson marks centre wing.
Brian Wilson to Lovett. Lovett kicks down towards the pocket. Garry Ayres uncontested. Buckenara is at right half back and away. Buckenara, members side with a kick, not a good one. It tumbles back towards Wilson. He dropped it, picked up by Morrissey, shrugs the tackle. Clever little hand pass over the top. Schwab now. Platten's in space. Platten running through the middle. Dunstall on a lead towards the pocket. He's yards, meters. However you want to step it out in front of Hughes.
Yes, what's happened there is Stretch has gone on to Di Domenico, who really is playing very well, and Hughes now back at full-back.
Nice. Jason Dunstall from the 50-metre line. A bad-looking kick. That's close. It's a goal.
What a fantastic kick. What great play really from Hawthorn all the way up the ground, and it really did start from Garry Ayres again. It's pinpoint stuff, and then that great kick from Platten out in front. They really do chip the ball in front of Dunstan rather than try and ping it at him. And isn't that a magnificent kick?
Nice little hand pass by Morrissey on the wing too, wasn't it? Beautifully released.
Hawthorn bolting away in this quarter. Platten with 10 possessions. Ayres 14 possessions. Di Domenico 12. And here they go, just forcing it forward. But finally Phoebe gets a soccer off the ground to reverse the trend. Tapped up the ground by Mew. Green lost out. Lyon, the hand pass. Spalding. Bouncing in no man's land at half forward. It bounces clear of the pack. Williams there with Tuck. Was it a trip? No, said the umpire. But Hawthorn back there. And here's the ruckman, Greg Deere, playing the role of a rover. And his kick over centre wing. All ready to haul. Lyon comes to meet him. Lyon did well to get his body in between opponent and ball. And there's Garry Ayres. I don't know what position Garry Ayres is playing. He's everywhere.
He's actually playing on the ball, Drew.
10 kicks, 4 hand passes, 2 marks to Garry Ayres.
I think he's running down with Greg Healy when he goes on the ball.
In more ways than one, he's playing on the ball. Lyons minus a boot. He's battling for the ball there. This is Green close to the boundary line. Does well. Platten cleverly. Off the ground by Healy though. White, haven't seen much of him. Kennedy emerges with the ball towards half forward. Brereton brilliantly worked his way to the front. Goes again, Brereton, and again. Great stuff by the champ. And eventually we'll get a ball.
No.
He's been knocked off for holding the ball. Well,
the only bloke going for the ball and really putting himself in has been penalised.
yes, he's hurt. He's having words, Dermot Brereton. Watch this. 3 contests in a row. Got to the front initially. Well, he should have got the kick. I don't think there's much question about that. Grinter towards half forward for Melbourne. Through the hands of Collins, who goes back immediately and paddles it towards the boundary line. Well done. We'll have a boundary throw in. With 6:37 and counting down remaining in this term. 9-8 Hawthorn, 2-5 Melbourne. It's going to be a free kick. It's going Hawthorn's way after the boundary throw in. It'll be taken by Deere, who's asking for 50 metres. It won't be forthcoming. This is disappointing for the big crowd, in excess of 100,000 we'd venture to say. At the present time, Hawthorn putting on something of a clinic, and Melbourne can't go with them. This is Johnson, socket off the ground by Morrissey.
Stretch, a beautiful pickup, but Morrissey took it off him, and Morrissey goes for goal, which he so richly deserves. What a beauty!
Hasn't he come alive in this second quarter, James Morrissey, who's a very, very good player when coming on the ground in their last game they played, and obviously earned his place in the side, and he really has been a lively player. Stretch tries to handball right-handed instead of left-handed, gives Morrissey time to smother, and then a great kick for goal. Fantastic play.
It's now 6-1 in this quarter. An absolute bath Melbourne are taking here at the moment, having qualified from 5th place. Lovell's kick straight onto the chest of Mew, and he feeds it off to Collins. Pokes it out wide to Ayres. Is knocked up getting the ball. Wide for Hall. He dives. Almost a slips catch. Oh, he didn't have it when Phoebe pushed him in the back, and a free kick to Tony Hall, who starred on Brownlow night. Didn't quite win it, but in his first season of VFL football was certainly under the notice of the umpires. Kick by Hall. Brereton outnumbered 2-1. Comes to the back to Grinter. Eventually gets a handle on the ball. No man's land. Deere straight at the ball. Spills to Platten. Out wide the kick. Grinter takes the mark. Would have been his anyway, so I think it would have gone out on the full. Rod Grinter from the back pocket. Oh, smothered again. And that's Buckenara, just like Morrissey did. But instead of Buckenara getting a goal, he wins a boundary throw-in.
Yes, that indecision. Just not doing the first thing. They're trying to get something going. You can't blame him for that. He's got to be a bit more careful than that.
Hawthorn lead 10-8 to 2-5. Jackson back towards centre wing for Melbourne. Hall was up in front, couldn't take the mark. This is Wright. Clever little kick around the corner. Bounces obligingly for Wilson. Wilson. Well, it was interesting. It comes across towards Lovell. Vice-like grip applied by Mew, but Lovell's going to get the free kick. Well, John Northey, who's done a great job to get Melbourne this far, now has a daunting prospect at half-time. He's going to have to regroup this side and do it very quickly. Into the forward line goes the kick. Platten charges into the pack. It's tied up by Ayres. I think we'll get a ball up. He's really got to do a job, John Northey, to save his side from getting humiliated in the second half. There he is. Don't envy him that. Spalding and Dia. Dia trying to get it towards the boundary line. Guess who's got it? Ayres. Just breaking packs at will. The high kick comes back towards half-back flank for Hawthorn. Gathered by Phoebe. Hooks it around the corner. In front was Lyon. Deflection comes across to Greg Healy. Can it be a goal? Will it come back? No, it won't. They can't buy a goal, the Demons, at the present time.
Well, he might have to swing some positional changes at half-time, John Northey. Sean White on the forward line has had just 2 kicks. He's been mostly a defender, except for in the final series when he spent most of his time on the forward line. But today in these greasy conditions, just not seeing the ball. And a lot of the Melbourne members, some of them, I suppose, are coming to the football for the first time in a quarter of a century. Can't understand Melbourne getting blitzed like this. Here's Sean White outside of his foot. And just misses from close range, but a very tight angle.
Yes, he really did hurry that a bit then too, Sean White. He had a bit more time than that, but I guess that's the way Melbourne are playing at the moment. They're not playing confidently, and he really could have gone another couple of steps and made sure of it.
Yes, well, he's been shooting for goal, kicking in after behinds and winning the ball around the middle of the ground. Big pack develops here. 2 Hawks applying the tackle. Seems to always be 2 to 1. This time there's no free kick for it. Lyon gives it to the umpire and will have a ball up on the edge of the centre square. 68 plays 19. Hawthorn in their 6th grand final in a row, well on top of Melbourne, who are novices at this caper. Not one Melbourne player has played in a grand final. Kennedy away to Platten was brilliant play. Platten off the left. Dunstall. That's how he's kicked over 120 goals this year, with delivery like that.
That was superb stuff. The hand passes at close quarters and then the finish.
As we look at this, what they do, see, they chip the ball out in front of Dunstan and let him run into it. He does attack the football like a good player, and his kicked one earlier from over this side was a great goal. So 2 goals so far to Jason Dunstall, all in this quarter, lining up for his 3rd.
127 for the season, more than 40 ahead of the next best. Dunstall goes for goal. You give him a rap and he lets you down. 2 goals, 1. But Dermot Brereton's kicked 3 goals for the match and has been a vital influence. He was goalless last year against Rhys Jones, who won the medal for the best player on the ground. And he's hit back pretty well today.
Hughes, members side with a kick. It's a high one. Hall almost the mark. Schwab with courage, diving on the ball. Oh, gee whiz.
No, you're guessing.
Yeah, couldn't see the ball, the umpire, that time. Can see the scoreboard. There goes the kick from Phoebe towards half forward. Ayres over the top, almost the mark. It's taken by Lyon. Hooks it around the corner. In front, Healy fell over. Morrissey gets it out of bounds. Yes, the umpire, as Mel said, obviously guessing. Umpire Sheehan with that last decision, because the ball clearly, from our vantage point, had spilt loose towards the boundary line. 1:17 remaining. Up goes White. Opportunity for Hall. Feeds it White. It's taken by Schwab. Into the path of theirs, close to the boundary line. Brilliantly done. And again, deft deflections. Kennedy back towards Morrissey. Over the top, the hand pass from Platten intended for Hall. Chopped out by Lovett. Steins back towards half forward for Melbourne. And Healy takes the mark on his chest. Can they get a late goal? Here's Healy. Just over 50 seconds remaining. And he finds Williams at full stretch directly in front of goal. About 40 metres out.
Yes, excellent kick from Healy then, and great fingertip mark from Williams.
Williams, who's kicked 1 goal, 1. This kick from about 43 metres is offline and Melbourne really need those to even make this a contest.
Well, at the moment, they look like a bloke at the wrong end of the driving range, getting about 40 cents a bucket, don't they?
Well, just 15 seconds left to half-time. And Deer works it out of defence. Lovett gets to the front and takes a good mark in front of Kennedy. But no time left for Melbourne to get another score. And this has been a first-half bath. Into Johnson. Long kick. Siren goes before a mark can be taken. That's it. Half-time, 10-9, 69 to 2-8-20. Well, Melbourne, who have been superb right through this final series, they've won 4 games in the last month, but they haven't come up against the might of Hawthorn in this present mood. And I wonder what John Northey and the match committee can do at half-time. Maybe positional changes, maybe a general rev-up. There goes Alan Joyce, he'd be pleased. At half-time here, Hawthorn 10-9, 69, leading Melbourne 2-8-20. Umpire Brian Sheehan to start the second half. It's a 49-point leeway for Melbourne to make up. Steins in the ruck against Deer. Deer a hand to it. Buckenara first onto it. Beaten to it by Lovell eventually. Pulled off the ball. Ayres gets it across to Morrissey. Threads out the hand pass and away they go again. Green to Di Domenico in front, but misses to the right.
Drew, just looking at the changes, mate. Rod Grinter would appear to now to be playing centre-half back on Dermot Brereton, with Dersma going onto the flank.
Hughes kicking it in to the outer side. Melbourne have got the numbers out there, but Hall in front takes the mark. Buckenara towards the pocket, and Dunstall pushed in the back surely, and he'll get the free kick. Jason Dunstall has 2 goals so far. There's the indication for the push.
We're watching replay there. In a lot of trouble. They've had to move stretch off of him, and of course Hughes just lacks that early zip to go with Dunstall, and a great kick from Buckenara.
No venom in that push. Looked a little worse than it was, but still Dunstall's got the ball. A chance to extend the lead for Hawthorn. And the bright sunshine now. He goes goalward and misses to the near side. 10-11 Hawthorn. Melbourne 2-8. Phoebe and Viney looking on. And Hughes looking for something to kick to. Goes towards the outer side yet again. Again Hawthorn in best position to take the mark, but Deer couldn't hang on that time. This is Newport in trouble. Gets it across towards Lovell. Tries to paddle it out to Wilson, who soccers off the ground towards centre wing.
Di Domenico comes out with it again. His kick inside 50. Dersma tried to hack it off the ground. Picked up by the veteran Green. Russell Green goes for goal, but hooked it across to the left. Well, Hawthorn have done all the scoring but haven't managed a goal yet early in the third quarter.
Alan Joyce looking on there. I suggest they'd be pretty pleased at this stage, of course, knowing that there's still almost a half to go.
The Hawks 3 behinds in the opening 2 minutes of the half. Steins in front. Umpire pays the mark. So Jim Steins, who was at the centre of the controversy when Melbourne lost the preliminary final last year, hasn't been able to make up for it so far with a revenge win here. Mew didn't get first touch there. The umpire didn't pay the mark. Comes away to Lyon, who's quickly buried. Healy in over the ball. Umpire Cameron calls for it and is going to ball it up on centre wing.
Haven't they been ferocious in the packs, Hawthorn? They really are at you and at you all the time, putting heaps of pressure on.
One down by Deer. Johnson stretch now. Great tackle again, that time from Ayres, and still the tackling goes on. Healy got it across to Lovett though. Lovett goes towards centre half forward. Williams up in front, couldn't take the mark. Lyon, an opportunity from 40 metres. Will it skid through? Yes, it does.
First goal to Garry Lyon, and the first goal of the second half after some attacks by Hawthorn resulted in some points. And it really did come from just having enough players there at the fall of the ball, which ended up with Lovett. There's Lovett's kick in the Williams direction underneath the ball, and there's Garry Lyon running onto the ball. Hasn't got away from McGuinness many times at all today, but he kicked truly, kept the ball low, just what Melbourne needed.
72-26. Much needed goal for Melbourne. That's an understatement. Flintoff out of the middle towards half forward. Schwab, well played, but the hand pass a shade untidy. Buckenara breaks 2 tackles. Well done. High kick towards half forward, and Kennedy, who's been a willing worker today, takes the mark, wheels onto his right foot. That's intended for Dunstall, up in front. Couldn't take the mark through his fingertips. Socket off the ground by Johnson out towards the boundary, and we'll have a throw in.
Dermot Brereton, as he does so often, comes back with new boots in the second half, and he's gone for the colours. The iridescence. Johnson. His kick on the turn, short of centre wing. McGuinness runs out of room, and will have a boundary throw in between wing and half-back for Melbourne. 72 playing 26. It would have to be the biggest comeback since Lazarus if Melbourne were to get up and win from here after the trend of the first half. Steins takes clean possession. Off the left boot, great athleticism, but his kick is a mile up the side of the boot and out of bounds on the full. And the free kick into play will be taken by Collins. Just under 21 minutes left in the third quarter. Collins' kick over the centre. Steins again to Schwab. Schwab's kick to half forward. Dersma couldn't take the mark. It comes to the back to Green. Away to Buckenara. A centering kick for Dunstall. One out with Hughes. Too easy.
My word, it's a devil in the deep blue sea for Melbourne here. Dunstall really is causing Hughes a lot of problems. And I think what Melbourne are trying to do is stretch up the ground and get some attack, as we see the pushing and shoving really going Dunstall's way.
Jason Dunstall going for his third. No problem.
There's 3 goals. I think Melbourne have got to take the tack whether they save the game or go for the game, and obviously John Northey's decided to go for it. And Stephen Stritch, as I mentioned, being moved out to half-back flank as we watch this kick come in again, and just the body strength of Jason Dunstall. Flintoff now tagging John Platten.
Lost the footy momentarily. There's one.
Yeah, interesting move this, Dennis, with Flintoff tagging Platten. Lovell had him early, then he broke loose in that second quarter.
He was very good last week in a tagging role, Flintoff, against Carlton. The assignment tougher this afternoon, though, given the circumstances. Deer looking grimly determined. 11-12, 3-8 is the time remaining. Ayres at the base of that pack. Lovell tackled by Buckenara. Healy will have a ball up. Melbourne have been ground down so far. A relentless Hawthorn side this afternoon. Peter Cameron bounces. Neither ruckman touched it. Flintoff out of mid-air, an attempt by Platten. Look at him go. Platten at the base of that pack. Another bounce down.
Dennis, I think he stays on the ball all day. I can't remember where he's ever changed. I think he's been on the ball for the whole game.
And why not? The way he's played. Quiet to start, but then burst into prominence, especially in that second quarter. Opportunity for Healy now, his opposite number. Was he tripped? Not according to the umpire. Hand pass comes across from Viney, pushed towards the boundary line by Melbourne. They still go after it. Out of bounds from Tuck eventually. A lot of effort, a little return. And the crowd perhaps getting behind their side in the case of Melbourne. Could be for the final time. Can they rally the Demons? Just over 19 minutes remaining. Deer's in front. He's done well this afternoon. Spalding. Platten tackles him on the ground. And another bounce down.
Steve Newport finds himself on the bench early in the third quarter, as he did early in the first. Kickless so far, just 2 hand passes. Call up by umpire Cameron. Backhanded by Viney, comes to Spalding. Top tackle put him to the ground. Paddle out, intercepted by Platten, and he sprints away from Jackson. Platten's kick to half forward. Brereton in front, Winter a spoil. The ball goes out of play, and look at Dermot Brereton's boots. He is honestly nearly bigger than the game itself. Steins tries to take off. Brereton went through and decked him. Play on, says the umpire. There's a fight on here right on the logo centre wing. Will we go with the footy? We'd better, I think. It comes out to Mew. Mew from the centre. The fight's still going. Mew's kicked the full forward. This time Dersma's in front. And Di Domenico went in there. He and Viney haven't been the best of friends. Brereton's got the Guernsey off. There you are, girls.
Dersma, he's got a sense of humour. He kicks it back towards the fight. Off hands, Wilson crawling after the ball. Di Domenico to Ayres. Again, great composure. Buckenara into open space. What a kick, what a lead.
Yes, and now Dersma onto Dunstall. Still can't stop those great skills of Buckenara. And that's really around that midfield area where they really are creating havoc and using the ball brilliantly in these better conditions now. And Jason Dunstall, leading goal kicker, going for his 4th goal for the day.
He'll kick from about 35 metres out, 45-degree angle. Simply too many good players to try and stop from Melbourne's perspective. Dunstall, a study in concentration. There goes the kick. It looks pretty good. It's another goal towards the premiership.
Yes, when you really must admire Hawthorn, they have come out exactly the way they left that first half, and they really are relentless. So once again, how many times have we seen that happen with Jason Dunstall this year? That leading and really throwing himself at the football, and then an excellent kick, and he's pretty pleased about what's happening out on the ground in front of him.
Dunstall has 4 goals. Hawthorn has a big lead, 84-26. We're back in the middle. Steins and Dia, as they've done all day, with the exception of the first bounce, go at it again. There's the time remaining. Clean possession taken by Steins. Didn't go very far with the kick. Lyon works it towards half forward. Di Domenico, though, standing in the way. Pumps it down towards left half forward. Brereton controls it like a policeman. Was he pushed in the back? He was held without it, says the umpire. Grinter is dislodged. And Brereton will take this kick at left half forward. The boots
This could be
shining in the sunshine.
This could be a pretty hot contest. They both were suspended for 6 weeks during the year.
Grinter standing the mark. Didn't go over his head. It sailed off to the right. Abbott's got it, though, to Green. What about the hand pass to Ayres? Still he goes to Russell Green. Pulls it back across his body. They'll contest about 5 metres out. Off hands and through for a minor score.
The veteran 300-game player Russell Green really starting to work his way into this game.
Jamie Dersma not looking too good. He is one of 3 former Hawthorn players who finished up playing for Melbourne against their original team here today. Of course, Dersma's been to about 14 other clubs as well. Di Domenico, the hand pass blind, but it's picked up by Kennedy. He goes long for goal offline and through for a behind. Jamie Dersma, a most unusual career. Not wanted by Hawthorn. Went to the Sydney Swans, the Brisbane Bears. Spell for Sandringham in the VFA for a while. Stretch a big climb up very early. Has to have given away the free kick. And guess who's going to come up with it? Garry Ayres, who has had 13 kicks, 7 hand passes.
Yeah, you should call it a shade early and just a shade impetuous probably, but I think Melbourne have got to do that. They've really got to start to up their initiative and rating. They really must try some things now and really start to run and move this football around.
Ayres goes for the short pass. Hawthorn getting in space. Tony Hall was off. He's caught by Johnson. The umpire pings him for holding the ball. That was pretty quick. Johnson takes it quickly. Over centre wing. 2 against 2. It comes to the back to Schwab. He does well to trap it and tunnel it. Lyon there for Melbourne. Gets the hand pass away. Flintoff off the ground. Platten's there with Wilson. 2 Brownlow medalists going for it. Great contest. Ball goes out of bounds, but a pleasure to watch.
See how that Hawthorn defence didn't let that ball around get behind them. Schwab just desperate. Everybody keeping the ball in front of them.
12-14 to 3-8. Dia decisively got it down to Hall. Walks away. Gets the hand pass across to Buckenara, but in the meantime it comes back to Dia. Working hard this afternoon. Untidy kick, but Ayres gathers the ball just inside the boundary line. What a star he's been. He finds Morrissey this time. It's all falling into place for the Hawks. Morrissey will kick from about 55 metres out. Dersma's heart, no doubt, is pumping. Where will Dunstall go? Makes his break. It's ignored by this man. So Morrissey, it'll take a good kick from here. Not a bad looking kick. Slightly off to the right. And through it goes for a minor score. Hawthorn increased their lead 12-15 to 3-8. The bench pretty content. Hughes comes in, finds Healy in the back pocket. He elects to run now. A second bounce. Well, that didn't work. He brought the ball up towards right half back stretch in deep trouble. Took his eye off the ball completely as DiPietro was bearing down on him. And then DiPietro proceeds to soccer it out of bounds. And the house of cards is coming down for Melbourne. Even their good players now are making mistakes. And of course the Hawthorn players very quick to tell the Melbourne players what they've just done. Here's the throw in. It's all psychological. Morrissey thumps it towards the boundary line. It's out of bounds in front of Kennedy.
He was looking like Rambo, then DiPietro. If I'd been in the same place, I'd hop right out of the way.
Here's the throw in. Abbott and Stein. Steins has tried very hard. DiPietro goes down. Printer was late. Went down on top of DiPietro. Meantime, away from that, Platten and Flintoff fight their own war. The ball goes out of bounds. Back we go. DiPietro has found somebody else to play with. It's Danny Hughes. Oh.
Well, he really is putting on a Rambo performance here today.
Rambunctious.
Rambunctious indeed. And will we get Rambo 1, 2, 3 and 4 out of DiPietro? Here's Tuck trying to take the ball away. The veteran does it. Puts it out in front of Hall. Hall picks up at his bootlaces. Back to Tuck. Great play by the veteran. Open forward line. Dunstall's there but couldn't take the mark. The whistle's gone. It's a Melbourne free kick and it'll come back to Dersma. Well, Michael Tuck in his 360th game. He hasn't just fallen across the line to make 300. He is going on with the business. Let's hope he plays again next year. He's played the third most number of games in VFL football. Up to Lyon centre wing. Can't take the mark. There's Tuck with the beard in there again. Helped out by youngster McGuinness. Into Schwab. Floodgate starting to open. Platten puts it out wide to Mew. Mew had options. Went for Morrissey. Morrissey centres with a long penetrating kick. Buckenaro chance. Oh, that was a good contest. Dersma did well to get it out of there to Wilson. And now Melbourne on the rebound. Lovett, but under pressure all the time. Had to give the ball away. Ball applied a tackle illegally, and it's going to be a free kick to Viney.
Todd Viney, deputy vice captain for Melbourne, to take this kick, the defensive side of the centre circle. Taken high and without the ball. There goes his kick towards half forward. Williams waiting behind. Tuck trying to knock it forward. Lovell gets it over the top to Williams. Fourth goal coming up. Williams misses. Oh, gee. Grazed the post. The point side of it.
Yes, in a game where goals are obviously important, that's a couple that David Williams missed. One in the second quarter, one now. At a time in that second quarter too was very important.
What was John Northey saying? Have those posts shifted?
Yes, what he's tried to do is stab the ball rather than kick through it, and of course just nicked the post.
Actually only just cleared the man in between him and the goal.
Yes.
12-15 to 3-9. Langford. There's the time remaining. Interference surely to Wilson in front. No free kick. Gathered by Platten. He hoists it long towards half forward. Yates going back with courage. Stretcher's got it now behind the pack. Goes with the left foot towards half forward. Ayres. Great mark, Ayres. Superb mark. He misjudged it initially. He had to compensate for that. He was going back into unexplored territory. There was a collision upcoming and he took the mark. Remarkable stuff by Garry Ayres, who's been superb. On the outer side, Yates is over the ball now, almost held without it. Wilson was carried forward in the tackle. The advantage will be paid. Jackson breaks away.
Jackson's kick drops short. Bounces off the shins of White, who's been really a non-contributor today for Melbourne. There's Viney in there, paddling the ball on. Hawthorn putting up the wall. But it's whipped away by Flintoff, another former Hawk. He gets the hand pass away, it drops short, but Williams will kick the goal this time.
2 goals to David Williams, 2 goals, 3 in fact. And that scoreboard is certainly a sorry sight for Melbourne as the Demons fans raise their hopes slightly. As we watch this in replay, the ball is eventually forced past Flintoff. There was a free kick paid and Flintoff handballed over to Williams, and Williams surely couldn't have missed that one.
Football, still some distance out of the centre. So let's check the score. 12-15 to 4-9. Alan Joyce having a bit to say. 87-33 though. Big margin, as we said prior to the game. The sides that have made the grand final from 5th position have invariably been thrashed. Only 2 have, Collingwood and Essendon, both lost by in excess of 80 points. Coming away is Jackson. Clever football. Gets it to Spalding from 50 metres out. The kick is off target and through it goes for a minor score. Better football though. 4-10 to 12-15. Good shot that one. Michael Tuck. Full back for the present. Members side with a kick. Deputy Domenico couldn't take the mark. Ayres again in the congestion. Works it forward for Hawthorn. With a run out of bounds. Brereton leading up the charge. At quarter time, Hawthorn led by 17 points. At half time, their margin was 49 points. Changes being made, I think, down there on the Melbourne bench. As Dia decisively wins it down. Brereton slipped over. Kennedy goes without it. Stretch goes in. Kennedy, I think, will get the free kick. So John Kennedy.
Remarkable that he's even there, you know. He's played only the last 7 games of the season after having an irregular heartbeat. It was as though maybe his career is finished. Here's a 50-metre penalty for John Kennedy.
Because the ball was thrown back to Tippie Domenico, it was a long way away from Kennedy. I think that was pretty harsh, really. I mean, it could have easily been. There were players all around the ball.
So it makes his kick for goal almost a gift. 30 metres out. Close to missing, but 2 flags.
John Kennedy kicks his first goal. And each time Melbourne get that goal, not that they've got a lot, Hawthorn have been able to come back immediately with a goal of their own. And John Northey certainly got some worries.
John Northey saying during the week that he was determined that Melbourne wouldn't just get here and pat themselves on the back and say, well, we made the grand final from 5th place. It's no good being there. You've got to win it. But it hasn't turned out that way. Melbourne looking to make some more changes here, with youngster from Tasmania, Stephen Phoebe, about to come on the ground. It's 93-34. Back in the centre with just over 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Steins hasn't given up. Comes to Stretch. Stretch is kicked straight up the centre corridor. Collins is there. Tries to shrug a tackle. Intercepted by Lovell. Goes to Jackson. He's inside 50. Off the left boot. Won't make it. Williams. No mark. And off his hands and out of bounds for throw-in. Does he come down on his shoulder? Even gets a pat from Peter Schwab, his opponent.
Here it is. It's almost a day of could-have-beens for David Williams. Had a few chances up forward.
Boundary throw-in. Jackson roving. Not a bad snap. Across the face of goal. Williams there again. But off Jackson's kick, it goes through for a behind. Jackson goalless. He's their leading goal kicker this year with 43 goals. Garry Lyon has 39. Jackson kicked 5 in the preliminary final last week, but he hasn't been able to get on the goal-scoring board today.
Ayres kicks in, members side. Up in front was Langford, fisted away. It's taken by Lovell, who hooks it down towards full forward. Going back, a fine mark is taken by Chris Mew. Taking the tumble and the ball. Lays it off to Schwab, who elects to run it out. Well done and too easy. Still he goes. 3 bounces from Schwab. Boots it towards the centre wing. The pitch is in front of another veteran out there, Green, who lays it off superbly. McGuinness goes for a gallop. McGuinness goes down towards right half forward. Dunstall couldn't hang on. Opportunity though for Abbott. Gets it to Kennedy. Back it comes to support. Hall. Dunstall. They've still got the numbers, but Melbourne are dogged out there. Abbott. Hurried kick towards the kickoff line. Wilson in there for Melbourne. Hand passes towards the boundary line. It's taken by Lovett. Lovett gets it across to Healy, or is it Newport? It was Healy who hooks it around the outer side, and the mark is taken by Steins. Well, Melbourne played that pretty well. They kept pressure on. Healy backs up yet again. Kicks towards centre wing. Mew's in front of Spalding. Does he keep it in? Yes, he does. Well done. Dia. This is Platten. Great acceleration from John Platten. Long kick. They'll contest about 40 metres out from goal. Brereton and Grinter. It falls behind them. Hughes is over the ball. Over the top of him and relishing that. Here's Dermot Brereton. We're going to have a ball up.
Well, the Melbourne defence in heaps of bother with this Hawthorn attack. Dunstall's kicked 4, Brereton's kicked 3 goals. Steins, he's won in the ruck actually, 27 hit-outs to 23, and Steins has also had 13 possessions, so he's played a top game on his own in the ruck after the suspension of O'Dwyer, and this will be a ball up next to centre wing. So Melbourne dipped out in the preliminary final by 2 points last year with the kick after the siren. They got one step further this year, but their grand final thrashing is going to be a lot more than that. Ball gets it across to Kennedy, who goes for goal and misses. And Hawthorn having a few chances, but spraying them about in this quarter. In this term, they've added 3 goals, 7.
Kick in towards the underside, but I think it will come back. Goal umpire still waving the flag down there. Pritchard getting ready to come on. So Alan Joyce still making the changes, looking to fine-tune this outfit still more. Hawthorn 13-16, Melbourne 4-11. There's the time remaining. Morrissey was up in front, couldn't take the mark. Battle after the ball on the ground. And a bounce down upcoming. There's Tony Hall. What a recruit he's been from Glenelg in South Australia. Very prominent in the Brownlow medal last Monday. Steins up in front. Over the top came Abbott that time to win it down. Flintoff going nowhere. Healy tackled by Tuck. Another ball up. Domenico is coming off. And Pritchard is coming on. Well, Pepe Domenico showed unlucky to come off. He really has been working hard for them. 14 kicks and 5 hand passes.
I'm suggested for injury, Dennis.
Yes, he's in the hands of the trainers now. You're right, Mal. As White punches Melbourne forward. In the road was Deere. Bounces off Morrissey and comes to Lovell. High kick towards half forward. Schwab battling there with Williams. Ball into open space. Opportunity for Phoebe. Held without it, surely Phoebe, and he'll get the free kick about 25 metres out from goal on a slight angle. It was bad luck there for Collins. Collins stumbled as he was about to lay the tackle.
Yes, we watch in replay there that Collins really had no alternative then but to hang on.
I hope the umpire missed it. But even that is very courageous. That sort of situation into the flailing boots coming back. No second thought from Collins. Meantime, Phoebe in his first season. Now that was a big kick for Melbourne. He's missed. They needed desperately a goal there.
Yes, young Stephen Phoebe, 19 years of age in his first season, playing just his 12th game of VFL football. And now McGuinness kicks in. Also in his first season, playing his 18th game. Here's a veteran in his 17th season, playing game 360. Off to another youngster in Pritchard. And here's defender Chris Langford right to the forward line. Oh. Beautiful. Full back to full forward. And Dunstall takes the mark on 50. Jason Dunstall has 4. A bit too far out to score. Centering kick. Brereton's there. Morrissey with a leap. Comes to the back. Lovett for Melbourne. Paddling, waiting for it to come up. But look at the pressure coming. Wilson had to volley the ball. Picked up by Mew. Another defender working forward. Sun into their eyes there. Brereton lost it. Yates. Slips. Pritchard for Hawthorn. Laid it like an egg. The hand pass out. Oh, look at the tackling. Michael Tuck, the veteran. The hand pass from Healy to Wilson along the ground. Didn't make it too easy for Phoebe, but it was a good gather and a hand pass in to Flintoff. To half forward. Williams there. Beaten by Schwab. Hawthorn had 3-2. Schwab had time. Picked the best option, but his kick wasn't too good. Wilson's there, fighting with his captain for the ball, Healy. Healy away to centre half forward and Williams. Good mark.
David Williams. Chris Ford of centre half forward. Chip pass intended for Johnson. What a good mark that was. Just a little nudge, then at full stretch he took the mark. But Alan Johnson has been rarely cited today. His kick for goal from about, what, 35 metres out. Alan Johnson has missed to the right-hand side as the mark in the field of play. Lyon claiming it was. The goal umpire having the last say. Alan Johnson annoyed with himself there, the frustration showing. 13-16 the Hawks, the Demons 4-13. Kick in. Members side. White. Good strong mark. White, Johnson, those sort of players need to fire up now for Melbourne. Healy, that was White's first mark of the afternoon. And a strong mark is taken down there by Lyon for Melbourne. Well, he's only about 10 metres out.
Dennis, the two productive forwards really from last week's game against Carlton, both White and Lyon figuring in this play, and it's really what needed to be happening all day.
Well, Garry Lyon kicking at the 5th goal for the Demons. Hasn't seen much of the ball this afternoon, as those figures indicate. Must get a goal here. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter. Lyon's kick is true.
Second goal for Garry Lyon. Got one early in the 1st quarter. As much as they try, the scoreboard just doesn't seem to tick over for them. They've had some opportunities in this quarter in what are pretty good conditions now. White, excellent mark over the top. He fed the handball off to Healy. And then Garry Lyon, for the first time, really breaking clear.
One and a half minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Melbourne needed a lot more from their forays forward in this turn. Morrissey gets the hand pass back to Platten. Hare flows behind him, but he gets the kick away to centre half forward. Abbott, good mark.
Great discipline play then by Hawthorn. John Platten hooked the ball back on the goal-to-goal line. They just do it so well. They use the middle corridor for most of the game.
Abbott going for his 3rd. That's one in each quarter.
So once again, Melbourne hit back with a goal. Then Hawthorn come back. Each time they've kicked goals, they've only kicked 5. Hawthorn have hit back very hard immediately.
A lot of plaudits due to Paul Abbott, a big man whose skills at ground level below his height. He's had 7 kicks, 4 hand passes today, 3 marks as well, and 3 goals. Robert DiPietro off the ground. Bernie Quinlan.
Drew, nothing too serious. He's had a knock on the calf. The medical staff have attended to it, but he should be right to come back on if necessary.
19 possessions for Robert DiPietro.
I think he was head-butted.
On the calf.
I think so.
What was his calf doing near a head?
Well, there's a bit of that going on just before he came off. So we're back in the middle, 14-16 to 5-13. Just a few balls this afternoon. Nothing much happening in there. Well, plenty happening, but the ball's not going very far. Steins inadvertently hit Deer on the nose. And Deer quick to point that out. The ball up then. Steins and Deer. Flintoff scrambles it forward. It's taken by a stretch. He breaks away. Long kick towards full forward. The new ball glistening in the sun. Lyon tries to force it through from the ground. Ball scrambled across the goal line with 27 seconds remaining in this 3rd quarter. Melbourne advanced to 5-14, trailing Hawthorn, who are 14-16. Kick in towards the outer side. Players contending with his son out there. Hall made it look easy to Pritchard. He's at right half back. Sidesteps White. Long kick through centre. Brereton in best position. Fisted away aggressively by Grinter. Well done by Deer. Knocked it forward. Taken by Hall. Back to Deer. The big fellow nimbly through the centre. Goes down towards the pocket. Back goes Abbott. Can't keep it in. There's the siren. 3/4 time in the grand final at the MCG, and Hawthorn lead. They're big leaders, 14-16 to 5-14.
Last quarter underway for about 40 seconds. Tuck getting a short pass up the ground, and Green marks at right half forward for the Hawks. 100 plays 44. Hawthorn well in command. Brereton in front. Good mark. Dermot Brereton, who once kicked 8 goals in a losing grand final team, He'd be happy with 4 in a winning grand final team, no doubt about that. Hawthorn, who played in the last 6 in a row, looking to square the ledger here today. 3 wins, 3 losses. Reads a lot better than 2-4. Brereton's kick comes back and goes right through.
Oh. Marvellous skills. Just marvellous skills. We saw him kick that check side one in the second quarter. And then that fantastic goal there where most players have had trouble. And Grinter did a fair job in that third quarter on him, but just get away, and he's capable of kicking goals. And when the 2 key forwards have now got 8 goals between them, it's a very big contribution for the Hawthorn side.
Superb kick, that last one from Brereton. Judged it centimetre perfect. Out of the middle, Steins towards half forward. Opportunity for Ayres. Nonchalant, smothered off the boot by Hughes, who's having a run on the ball. This is Johnson. Good vision. A couple of Melbourne players free. White's got it from 50 metres. A rather indecisive kick. He sends it down towards the pocket. Lyon in deep trouble, and will be penalised for holding the ball.
Yes, and Lyon's now playing full forward. He went there in the third quarter, but Langford's actually gone back onto him now.
Did it with the arch of the back. The degree of difficulty very high. About 10 as it turned out. McGuinness takes the mark in front at half-back for Hawthorn. McGuinness plays on. Centering kick, as Malcolm was pointing out, trying to get the ball back into the middle. Lovett behind, fell over. Bad luck. Morrissey to Green. Watch Brereton if you don't mind. Brereton about 30 metres out, directly in front. Malcolm, you're a genius.
Yeah, it's a very simple game of football, isn't it? And they do try and get the ball back in the middle all the time. And if your players are working there and they know that's going to happen, they've played a lot of football together. Just works wonderfully well.
Will anyone benefit from this genius next season? That is the question. As Brereton goes goalward and misses to the right-hand side. Minor score. Hawthorn 15-17, Melbourne 5-14.
Well, what a shame. Brereton kicked a goal from near the boundary line and missed from right in front.
Yes, but there is a rule in football that while you're kicking points, the opposition aren't, and you've always got a chance to get the next one.
Dersma kicks in. Still on Hawthorn's forward line. And Brereton's in front of the pack. The umpire doesn't pay the mark. Deer thumps up the ground. Oh, it's intercepted. Brereton falls over Healy after he got rid of it. White, low kick towards centre wing. Oh, Schwab, he's done that many times today. Just jumping on the ball. But that time it was socket away out of his hands. Picked up by Hall. Delayed the hand pass. Here goes Ayres to spoil Williams. Lovell. All Hawthorn here, and Tony Hall is a superb mark overhead. Even when it was raining today, he was taking marks. Here's Pritchard unmarked in the centre corridor, as Malcolm Blight advocated. Back to Collins, back to Pritchard. Keepings off. Bang, straight up the centre. At the back, well, there's a push out against Kennedy. That's Hawthorn's free kick. And it's coming to John Kennedy, who wasn't quite sure it was his. He goes for a bounce and goes back to take his free kick. Man on the mark about 40 metres out. And John Kennedy, who kicked 3 goals last year in the grand final. Going for his second today. Is that in the field of play? Yes, it is. Right on the behind line, the mark taken by Abbott. And he'll be just about in the 14th row of the bleachers to get back online to kick this.
Yeah, excellent mark. Spalding now playing on Abbott, the taller man. Hasn't he created some problems up forward? A terrific foil for Johnston.
Well, this ball nearly jammed between the goalposts. Now, that's a 50-metre penalty because the man's over the mark, but of course he's only about 2 metres out from goal, so it brings him right to the edge of the goal square.
Oh, surely if there's it was Grinter being too close, but surely if that's a 50-metre penalty, he should scream up to the goals.
He did warn Grinter once, had a word to him.
Well, he just walked in and kicked it.
4 goals to Paul Abbott, 1 in each quarter. So now the 3 key forwards have all kicked 4 goals. 12 goals those key forwards have kicked out of 16. And if that's not an excellent forward line's production, I don't know what is. Have a look at this great play from Abbott. The old walk-up, make-out kick and kick it on your wrong foot. It's terrific stuff, isn't it? I mean, it was a no-win situation for Melbourne.
16-17 to 5-14. 20-27. And counting down. Happening in front of your eyes there. The countdown to another Hawthorn premiership. Their 7th. It's etched in the centre circle. One down by Dia that time. Towards half-forward Melbourne. Getting back is Mew. Kicks it in the wrong direction. Opportunity deep in defence for Langford. Air of contempt now from Hawthorn as Hall comes away and finds McGuinness at half-back. Young McGuinness. What an introduction to play on this side. He's held his head high too as he boots towards half-forward. Brereton gave a contest. Platten outnumbered. A collision from 2 Melbourne players. And in microcosm, there was the afternoon as far as Hawthorn were concerned. And Melbourne swung around by Morrissey towards half-forward. The strong mark is taken. A diving mark by Yates. Yates at half-back. And a quiet player. Gets around Pritchard this time. Sends play back towards Melbourne's half-forward line. Big pack into the air. Tuck a timely fist. Morrissey, he's on centre wing, pursued by 3 Melbourne players. As a result, Hawthorn have got men free forward. This is Buckenara from Kennedy's hand pass. The kick not a good one as he brought it back. And Grinter takes the timely defensive mark.
Rod Grinter towards the members' wing. Steins is here. We had a bit of a look behind. And Andy Lovell was able to take the mark in front.
Good indication there. Melbourne went wide. Hawthorn go down the middle most times.
So there have to be about 3 more kicks by going around the boundary line than straight up the middle. And the more you handle the ball, the more chance you've got of losing it. Schwab a two-fister. Comes to the front to Johnson. Has been swung forward. Steins almost a good mark. Play on, says the umpire. Phoebe's there. Goes to Wilson. He gets free. Back to Johnson. And Johnson goals.
Alan Johnson kicks Melbourne's 6th goal. And Alan Johnson started in the back pocket. Has had a very good final series though. He's now playing on the ball in the centre of the ground. As we watch this tap out by Phoebe, Wilson dummies the hand pass and back to Johnson. And just enough time to get the ball onto boot and kick a goal.
.63 points the margin. Dia sweeping hand pass out wide. Collins, plenty of space. Gets around Hughes. He started the game very well, did Andrew Collins. Over the top to Pritchard. Back to Dia. The big fella goes for a run. Little chip pass down towards the pocket. Lovett, who's been a grand defender all season long for Melbourne. He's found it too hard this afternoon as he boots back to centre wing. And Phoebe takes the mark. A little short at centre wing. Phoebe stays with the boundary. High kick towards half forward. Wilson in from the side, couldn't take the mark. Tuck does brilliantly, feeds out the hand pass quickly. Then Pritchard got it to a voice. Platten, they work it so well. Schwab was the last man in the chain. Now at half forward Kennedy, back to Schwab, who's run on. In the tackle, he scrambles the kick forward. Hawthorn have got the numbers out towards the boundary. This is Buckenara. He settles. Long kick down towards full forward. Dunstall from behind. Off hands and through for a minor score. So the double threat. Dunstall has 4 and Brereton has 4. Here's Grinter. Just over 17 minutes remaining. Johnson, he too has had a fine season for Melbourne. 3 Melbourne players run on centre wing. Surely something good will come of this. Wilson gives it to Stretch. He runs down towards half forward. Long kick towards full forward. Lyon going back, but almost got a free. Off hands and through for a minor score, and Lyon is having a bit to say to the umpire.
Great experience then from Langford. He actually just tapped his arms and made it difficult to mark.
Well, Melbourne had players free on this side of the ground, which leaves Hawthorn players free on the far side. Buckenara to Platten, and the Hawks have it back at centre wing, having conceded only a point. So it's pretty smart. Buckenara double pass and kicks to centre half forward. Yates in the way. The margin at the moment 63 points, and Hawthorn with over 16 minutes to build on it, and it could yet get over 80, which has been the story for every team which has come through the elimination final. Mew's there in defence for the Hawks. Brereton, name written all over. The mark is paid. Advantage tried to be taken by Morrissey, but not off a mark.
Yes, good honest jump at the football again by Brereton. He really has got a lovely pair of hands.
Lovely pair of boots. Brereton for number 5. Oh, still a chance. Abbott. He'll go for number 5.
What a valuable player.
Yep.
John Kennedy did really most of the hard work, and his teammate said thank you.
Paul Abbott right through the middle.
So Drew, goal number 5 for Paul Abbott. He was probably the one player, with O'Dwyer being out, that perhaps Steins might have been thrown back there or something along those lines.
And we have a streaker here at the moment of the female persuasion. 1982 all over again. And just like in 1982, we have a streaker on the ground, a lady. I think she's a lady.
Sure, the boys in the centre managed to smile.
Well, at least this time the game was well won when she came on, because when she came on in 82, not the same one, I don't think, it really stopped Carlton, who were on a roll, and they really threw her off bodily, the players.
Just had a call from Don Scott. He assures us it wasn't the same streak. So we're back in the middle. White taken high, and he'll get the free kick. Sean White from half back. The outer in uproar as the kick goes down towards half forward. Good luck to them. They haven't much to cheer this afternoon. Tuck the hurried kick to Buckenara. Platten over the top. Brilliantly played. This is Abbott. 5 goals to his credit. Now he's in midfield getting kicks. Lovett in real trouble. Bounces off one defender. They get that wall across. Morrissey got the ball to Dunstall. He pulls it back, and a great mark is taken by Brereton.
I just think that depicts the discipline shown in the Hawthorn side. Dunstall, fantastic kick back to the front of the goal square, and Dermot Brereton, with his eyes only for the football, a great mark under pressure.
Lots of distractions at the moment. 4 goals to Brereton. He's not distracted, or was he? He's kicked to behind. So Brereton remains on 4 goals. Just over 14 minutes remaining in this game, and Hawthorn, as you can see, with a great lead. Dia will sit down. Pipia Domenico comes back onto the ground. Greg Dia, not one of the high-profile ruckmen in the competition, but through this final round, he really has earned his spurs. So Pipia Domenico is out there on Spalding.
Well, Brereton was kicking that behind. Hardly anybody saw it. They were watching another behind. Jamie Dersma to kick in for Melbourne. Straight up the centre, and that has gone near the centre circle. About an 80-metre kick. Oh, Kennedy took a mark, but not paid. Comes off to Hughes. Has switched a few changes, Melbourne. Lyon can't quite take the mark. Langford giving him nothing. Great defence by the Hawks. Somehow umpire Cameron's plucked out a free kick. Taken by McGuinness. Almost kicked it backwards to Collins in the back pocket. Buckenara's free on centre wing if he can find him that far away. That's the way the kick's going. The gap's closed by Lovell. Comes off to Newport. Hurried kick by him. Phoebe in the forward pocket. Oh, look at the smother. If one of them doesn't get you, 2 of them will. Schwab was there and tucked to help out. And that'll be a ball up, and it's about 25 metres from goal. Greg Deere on the bench, and with the unfortunate Chris Whitman, who was injured early in the match. Here's a chance for Melbourne. Johnson, who kicked the goal in this quarter. Muse back there, picked up by Flintoff, outside of his boot. And back there is Collins, didn't go 10 metres. He had to play on quickly and kicked for the boundary line and found touch on the bounce for a throw-in.
Just under 13 minutes now, counting down to another Hawthorn premiership. There's John Northey, nothing he can do. This game is over, and unfortunately it developed into the mismatch many people thought it could. Platten on his knees. But Melbourne have had a great season. You can't take away from them. Close to the boundary line. McGuinness with confidence. Hand passes back intended for Mew. He's in trouble through the legs of Williams. Ayres working over the ball. Well played. Queering kick towards centre wing. Good mark is taken by Stretch going back with the flight of the ball. Stretch, best and fairest for Melbourne last season. Forward of centre wing. Centering kick. Big pack into the air. Or in fact, they were bearing down on the ball. They all stopped and Mew soared over the top to take a great mark. Gives it to Collins. Here comes Member's side. Dipia Domenico takes the mark. And a forearm, I fancy, across the nose. Robert Dipia Domenico. To paraphrase all of that, he hit me. There's Langford, the defensive side of centre wing, towards half forward. He's strong. Hall taking a very good mark to Pritchard. Pritchard goes looking for Dunstall. And Dunstall on a lead about 40 metres out from goal. A chance to bring up his 5th.
Yeah, great kick in, and don't they look for him very well, and he does lead well, just Dunstall. And
he'll go close from here. Very testing kick, needs to start it right. Oh, well, it comes back the other way. That's his wrong one.
5 goals to Jason Dunstall. And really, Dermot Brereton's had his chances to kick 5 too, and haven't they been a very productive forward line? As we watch this again in replay, and Dersma half a metre behind and never ever had a chance of stopping it. Great kick from Dunstall.
.11 minutes left in the match, and Hawthorn 127, Melbourne 51. Tapped out of the centre, Melbourne go forward. Langford helps it back for the Hawks. Lovell, the youngster, drives it long. Oh, Williams backs into it and takes an excellent mark. Well, David Williams had 3 or 4 chances in the 3rd quarter.
Pretty good mark in the end. It was always an uncomfortable ball, wasn't it? Had to go back.
He's kicked 2 goals, 3. Just about directly in front, 40 metres out. And he sprayed that to the right. Well, it's a poor result for getting the ball so well. He's taken 6 marks and had 9 kicks on the forward line for just 2 goals. The man standing him up at the moment, Garry Ayres, number 7, who's been absolutely superb. Garry Ayres playing in his 6th successive grand final. Dipia Domenico is playing in his 7th, not successive. Michael Tuck in his 9th. And Dermot Brereton is playing 6 grand finals, and he's only been playing league football for 7 years. So it's great when you go to a top club. Here's Steins. Collins gets back there and takes a good mark, stopping it going through for a goal.
Collins has been solid all day towards the outer. Here's coming over the top. Platten in deep trouble. Johnson goes down, taken low according to the umpire. He'll get the free kick. So the margin is 75 points. We've talked about sides coming from 5th to a grand final, something of a Bermuda Triangle for them. And Melbourne at least trying to get the margin down.
Will be a triangle of ships that have gone down too.
Yes. Alan Johnson, deliberate shot, slides it across the face, and through it goes for a minor score. So the Demons now not kicking straight, and all sting's gone out of this game. They've stuck at it, but they've been outclassed this afternoon. Ayres in short. Schwab takes the mark, plays on, hugging the boundary this time. Hall almost the mark. It falls to Platten. Great acceleration again from standing still to top pace in about 5 strides. This is Yates from the kick. Feeds Lovell on the outer side wing. The centering kick, too much carry. That was bad luck. At the head of Lyon. Langford charging through. Kicks towards half forward. Lovett's in the row.
A great example of chasing too there by Hawthorn. They lead the game by a long way, but I think they're aiming for a margin somewhere in the 80s. Here's Yates, centre wing. Centering kick. Mew at the back and Abbott at the back. Paddles for a teammate. Any amount of them there. Schwab, but Lyon's there. Ball jolted free. Tuck gets Lyon. Good tackle. Umpire said ball held in. Give it to me, I'll ball it up. Todd Viney there. As the clock ticks down, under 9 minutes left in the 88 grand final. Abbott wins. Melbourne players there. Comes out from Flintoff to Lovell. Kick very wide. Oh, yes. Brilliant game.
Remarkable mark, that one. Ayres, members side with a kick. Pinpoints it. Langford takes the mark. Collins dashing up from the back pocket. Spears a pass to centre wing and Green. Pritchard outside him. He goes down towards half forward. Not a good kick. It was intended for Dunstall. That was ambitious. He was surrounded by Melbourne players, one of whom, Lovett, took the mark. And now 50 metres against Dipia Domenico for putting on a show.
He just about ran 50 to give away 50.
To puff his chest at the man who took the mark. Chest puffing has cost him 50.
Or 75.
Gee, that's a long way.
Took a deep breath. Lovett goes long down towards full forward. Big pack through the hands of the man in front, Phoebe. Leading back is Platten. He can't track it in time as Wilson picks himself up rather ruefully.
Didn't he look as though he'd played 4 finals in a row?
Yes. A key player for them. Hasn't been all that prominent today. Had a lot of possessions, but generally has been under pressure. From the boundary throw in, Ayres follows the ball across the line. There he is, perhaps the star of the grand final. There have been many, but he'll go close to the Norm Smith medal. 18-19 to 6-18. Some astute judges making their decision on that today, one of whom is our own Malcolm Blight. Not that we've got any inside information, of course, as the ball goes towards the outer side. Buckenara to Pritchard. He goes over the top. Kennedy, superbly done. Hall, look at this. Buckenara goes looking for Dunstall and finds him. Well, spare a thought for the defender, Jamie Dersma. No chance in the world. They were storming down. It was a sea of gold and brown in midfield, a line of them. And Dunstall slipped his marker. Jason Dunstall from about 45 metres out. Acute angle. Slides it across the face. Brereton has it fisted away by Grinter.
Change about to be made by Melbourne. Alan Johnson coming off and Ricky Jackson re-entering the fray. 6.5 minutes left in the 88 grand final. Steins goes for the boundary line and he's done a great job in the ruck, but I'm sure he would have appreciated some assistance from Steve O'Dwyer, who last Monday night was suspended for 3 weeks, which cost him the grand final. Stretch goes to Lovett. Look at the tacklers of Hawthorn. They're everywhere. Morrissey, Platten's there as well. Platten pulled off the ball when he didn't have it. He'll get the free kick on the 50-metre line.
Hasn't he been a remarkable player? I remember mentioning back in the first quarter about the 16-minute mark. I think he got his first kick, but they really a lot of touches since then.
Brilliant game. 24 possessions for John Platten. And the fact that so many of them were here last year when they were beaten by Carlton, it'll be a great spur to them. In the goal square, Brereton. Oh. Yes! Oh. Sensational mark by Dermot Brereton.
So could he kick his fifth? He's threatened with 2 easier shots,
which will make 3 5s.
3 5s of 15 goals out of their perhaps 19. Wasn't that an excellent mark? A great long kick from John Platten. The ball, being a torpedo, just dies a little bit at the end. Brereton in front.
That's 5 to him.
We wanted front position. Simple as that.
Remarkable football club, Hawthorn. Have had an insatiable appetite, not only for playing in grand finals, but for winning them. And out of 6, they've won 3. It's a pretty good record, really, when you get to this far against quality opposition. To come up 3 in a row, terrific stuff.
Just over 5 minutes remaining in the 1988 VFL Grand Final. Hawthorn have annexed their 7th premiership. Massive margin now. Out of the centre, Langford towards half forward with the kick. Brereton, who's got 5, in from the side, couldn't hang on that time. Kennedy was taken high and gave himself a free kick. Kennedy Out wide into a nest of teammates, one of whom is Hall. Clever deflection, gets it to Dippia, to Domenico, to Green. Superb run. Have a shot. Green is the call from teammates. He misses. Through it goes for a minor score. And I guess it's a good time now, with that score 19-20 to 6-18, to talk about Alan Joyce. Played with Hawthorn in the early 60s. He coached Preston and went to East Fremantle. He coached Newtown and New South Wales. And the New South Wales state side, Tuck's got it. Trying to increase their lead. Buckenara in deep trouble. This is Morrissey. Short pass is on. Green. Clever mark. He plays on quickly. From 40 metres, he's off target. Dunstall. Oh, what a courageous mark.
Free kick.
Free kick to Dersma. Dersma goes in short. Taken by Newport, who scrambles it towards the boundary. It's out of bounds. I was talking about Alan Joyce. He coached again in the WAFL. East Fremantle the second time in Perth. This time last year, he was director of football at Hawthorn. Of course, misfortune struck Alan Jeans. Alan Joyce took over as coach. Took over from a legend. He's done it his way this afternoon. Congratulations to him.
The Hawks going for a record here. Abbott on the run. Can he kick his sixth? He can! And that is a record margin in a grand final.
What can you say about Paul Abbott? 6 goals, 3 in this last quarter. He's having a run on the ball. Great play. Green's been prominent late. And then Paul Abbott, 6 goals.
What a day.
What a team.
The margin is 86 points. The biggest thumping in a grand final previously was 83 points in 1983. They might round it off and make it 88 in this bicentennial year, perhaps. Although they'd have to kick behinds to do that. They look like kicking more goals. Here's Buckenara popping it up for Dunstall. Easy.
There's that little chip again, giving Dunstall some room. And really, where it's been Hawthorn's day, you can't but admire Melbourne in getting here. And they learnt from last year's preliminary final. They've got a lot of young players still. Let's just hope they learn from this grand final.
Jason Dunstall for number 6. There it is. And Melbourne will have to be careful that they don't get thumped by a century.
Well, it is the Melbourne cricket ground. We've seen many centuries on this particular ground. But remarkable. All we really need now is Dermot Brereton, as we watch him replay, to kick his 6 goals. Abbott's done it. Dunstall's done it. Karen Brereton be the 3rd player. And it's been a long time, probably since 1972.
They tell us the door is shut.
Dennis, I would suggest it's been shut. It should have been shut on the other box.
The door is slammed tight on this game, but I'm sure Alan Joyce would be walking on air as he goes down to the boundary, congratulated by the support staff as Langford knocks it down to Grinter back in midfield. Rodney Grinter goes for a dash. He's inside 50, goes long towards goal and hits the post halfway up. Garry Ayres, a smile of acknowledgement to Rod Grinter there, almost showing some compassion, but there's not a lot of compassion built into this Hawthorn side when they play footy. Peter Schwab towards the outer side wing with the kick. Lyon trying to fist away for Melbourne. Platten off the ground, still playing the percentages. Pritchard, 2 on the overlap, one of whom is Tuck. He carries the ball towards centre wing. Hughes knocking it away from Brereton. So we're down to 1:59 in the grand final. There he is, Alan Joyce. The pressure is off.
I detect a bit of a smile for the first time this year.
Not Joyce.
And the amazing thing is he looks like finishing up being football manager again next year. 1 season as a VFL coach, 1 premiership, and back you go.
He'll probably smile more.
Here's Abbott. 91 points is the margin. 1.5 minutes left. 2 goals to make it a century. Collins up to half forward. Brereton. They're working it quickly. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. Brereton goes short and inside 50. Pritchard pops it for beautiful play. And Jason Dunstall on the point of the goal square.
They've had 95 more possessions than Melbourne. That tells the story as we watch this in replay, and great team play again by Hawthorn.
Dunstall now going for number 7. He's got it. 3 in this last quarter. Abbott's kicked 3 in this last quarter. Brereton 2 in the last term. The clock at 49 seconds. And if they can whip it out of the middle and get another one quickly, they'll win the grand final by a century.
Why do you wish that on Melbourne?
I don't wish it. And in fact, it only occurred to me about 5 minutes ago, but it's just been an avalanche.
I hope it doesn't happen. So, this game in its death throes. The celebration's about to start. Well, in fact, in some areas they've started. They've known for some time they were going to win their 7th premiership. Out of the middle, Melbourne defiantly. Green goes down. Langford back towards the centre. We're down to 39 seconds. Stretch takes the mark. Stretch goes out wide with a kick. The mark is taken out there by Stynes. Jim Stynes, possibly, in fact, I'm sure Melbourne's best player, to Lyon. 22-20 to 6-19. Here's Garry Lyon, forward of centre wing. Gets the spiral to go for him. Long down towards the kick-off line. Off hands. Opportunity for Melbourne. Taken by Wilson. Scrambles it through for a minor score. We're down to 7 seconds. That will be the last action of the grand final. Hawthorn have won this premiership. Wait for the siren now. Wait for the reactions around this ground. Chris Mew has the ball. We're out of time in the grand final. Hawthorn, their 7th premiership in emphatic style this afternoon. John Northey, there'll never be a doubt about what happened this afternoon in his mind. Last year, the uncertainty after the preliminary final must have haunted him, but this afternoon, they were crushed. Absolutely crushed by one of the best football teams we've seen in this land for a long time. 3 losses on the season, and in the VFL competition, that stands for much.
Yes, during the year, you win 19 games, you win the 2nd semi-final, you win the grand final by 96 points. There can't be a more emphatic premiership than that. Melbourne players absolutely shattered. Not a lot different to Collingwood in 1980 and Essendon in 83, who came through from the elimination final to get walloped in the grand final.
I suppose we say this at this time every year. There's O'Dwyer, Steve O'Dwyer, who was suspended early in the week, commiserating with Jim Stynes, but much was made of that suspension. Again, on what we saw today, it would have stood for naught. We say this at this time every year about the team that has won the grand final. Perhaps it's the beginning of a dynasty. Perhaps they're going to go on and crush opposition sides over next season and the season after that. There's Alan Joyce with Dermot Brereton. That's too much to say, but suffice to say they've been the best side in the land without question this season. John Northey, well, he was powerless from early in this game. Hawthorn got their act together. They led by 17 points at quarter time, by 49 points at half time. It was out to 56 at three-quarter time. And finally, 22-20 to 6-20 tells the story. We'll be back right after this break.
And welcome back to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Suffer demons. There is a Hawk supporter prepared to rub it right in. And Greg Healy, the beaten captain of Melbourne, and the players staying out on the ground. Many coaches say you should really stay out here and soak this in, feel the disgrace that a big defeat brings, so that it'll G you up again for next year. But how much ground do they have to make up? 96-point margin, 22-20 to 6 goals 20. Down on the ground, Bernie Quinlan with Michael Tuck.
Michael Tuck, congratulations. How many has that you played in?
That's a 9.
How many winning ones? 5 winning ones. Do they get better all the time?
No, they do, yeah. They're over the average now.
It ended up being a fairly easy win in the end. You worked hard in that first half. You set it all up.
I think the second quarter set up in the rain, getting all those goals. So we knew we had them, but we just had to keep going, and everything fell our way in the last quarter.
I shouldn't stop you from singing the club song, Tucky.
I guess, thanks, mate.
Great to see you. You're going to keep going next year?
I'm not sure yet. I just have to see what the club does, but I'll enjoy it tonight and see what happens.
You're getting a bit close to my number of games, Tucky. It might be time to give it away.
No, it might be too, mate. We'll see what happens anyway.
Great to see you. You've been a fantastic player and a great side, Hawthorn.
Oh, it was a good team, the captain, very good team.
Yeah, great excitement. Joyce, you did a good job with the boys.
He did, yes. Sort of, might have been a godsend, you just don't know.
Yeah, well done again, and enjoy the evening. I suppose you will. You don't need to be told that. Good on you, Michael. Thanks for that.
Benny.
Well, that's an interesting interview between the man second on the games list, Bernie Quinlan, and Michael Tuck third on the games list. And if he plays next year, he'll go into number 2.
Interesting, Drew, that after the defeat last year by Hawthorn, when they've come up 6 years in a row, it shows tremendous character. And I think that if you hear anyone that knows anything about football, they talk about the character of young men playing sport, and I think Hawthorn typify that. And as I said late in the game, I think that Melbourne, sitting there as the vanquished today, really should learn this, learn to take it with them until next year.
And now the chairman of the VFL Commission, Ross Oakley.
Mr. Bruce Andrew, just 19 at the age of 19, Bruce Andrew, some 60 years ago on this day, played in a winning Collingwood Premiership team on this ground. He's been a great worker for the Victorian Football League over the years, and it's a great honour that I present Bruce to you to present the Norm Smith Medal. The Norm Smith Medal has been won by a unanimous vote to Mr. Garry Ayres.
Garry, on behalf of everybody, I congratulate you on this honour. The Norm Smith Medal is a very prestigious honour and a well and worthy recipient. It's my pleasure to present the Norm Smith Medal to Garry Ayres.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen a really great team play here today and a wonderful win to the Hawthorn Football Club. We should, though, recognise the magnificent achievement of the Melbourne Football Club to get through to the grand final from 5th place. We have another former champion here today in the person of Robert Flower to present the Premiership Cup and the medallions to the winning team. Robert Flower, of course, has played 299 games at the Melbourne club, been captain of his club and captain of this state, and a great champion in his time. Robert Flower.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would ask the Hawthorn players to come forward and accept their 1988 VFL Myer Premiership medallions. First of all, number 2, Chris Mew. Number 6, Tony Hall. Number 7, Garry Ayres. And number 9, the Big Dipper, Robert Di Domenico. Number 10, Chris Whitman. Number 11, Garry Buchanara. And number 14, Greg Deere. Number 18, Darren Pritchard. Number 19, Jason Dunstall. Number 20, Scott McGuinness. And number 23, Dermot Brereton. Number 24, Chris Langford. And number 29, Russell Green. Number 30 coming your way, Peter Swab. '34, and what a wonderful comeback, John Kennedy. '35, James Morrissey. Number 39, Paul Abbott. Number 40, Andrew Collins. The little champ himself, 44, John Platten. And of course, the coach of Hawthorn, Alan Joyce. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the captain of Hawthorn, the evergreen, number 17, Michael Tuck. Here's the moment you've been waiting for. What a winner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that you'll welcome the Hawthorn players. I don't know whether the coach will do the lap of honour. But we would ask the Hawthorn players now, while we're getting drowned out here. Here are the boys on their lap of honour. Let's hear it for them. 1988 premiers, the VFL Maya Grand Final, Hawthorn.
And so the Hawthorn players doing their lap of honour now with the 1988 Premiership Cup, the bicentennial Premiership Cup, won by Hawthorn. And so Alan Joyce will go down in the record books, having coached the side for 1 year, and we presume next year back as their football manager. Greg Deere with the cup in his hand, and the players now, as I said, doing their lap of honour as the Melbourne players make their way from the MCG. Obviously very disappointed. Hawthorn, of course, was in that same position last year. I suppose we must look at it, how hard it is to come from 5th spot, to come up from 5th spots and win a flag. 3 teams have tried it, none so far has succeeded. The nearest one has got is 83 points. Drew Dennison, Malcolm mentioned it before, that Hawthorn had lost only 3 matches during the course of the year, so they were certainly the place setters for most of 1988, and on that, one would have to say, thoroughly deserved their victory here this afternoon. Certainly full credit to Melbourne to do what they did. They nearly brought off the impossible, but on the day they found that coming from that 5th spot was very, very hard indeed. Hawthorn really hardly had a weak link. I guess the only player that possibly would be disappointed, and I don't really think that's the word, is Chris Whitman. He was forced from the field in the first quarter in very similar circumstances to Garry Buckenara against Essendon in 1983, and he really didn't take too much part in the game. However, he was there at the finish to collect his medal, which is something that Garry Buckenara couldn't do in 1983. And there's John Kennedy. What a proud moment it must be for him. He missed more than half the season with a heart complaint.